Very well. How you guys doing? I just came over to chit chat with you guys a little bit. It's a lot of talk in the country about this drug game, especially when it's happening in the country as it relates to drugs. So it's only fitting that we come over and talk to you guys a little bit because a lot of people in the country, yeah, they're making the thing seem like what it's not. I know people are trying to score political points, but we will have a little brief discussion about this issue. And what's happening in the country regarding the drugs. I know some people will politicize it. This is not our normal schedule coming on. It's just a way to have a discussion with Liberian people. Some of you guys will call in. I'll put your comments up so we can have a discussion. What route you believe the president should be taking if the one he's taking is not the right way to go. People out there just want to make politics of some things that are not political. The fight against drugs is being done the way it's supposed to be done. Nobody's being shielded. The government is very aggressive about this issue, but people just want to politicize this thing. The president has said exactly what he has said. He's going to fight, do everything he can for the fight against drugs to be in the open. So I want to hear recommendations and suggestions from Liberians from across the country. If you believe what the president is doing, it's not the right way, give your recommendations and tell me what is being done wrong with the fight against drugs. So this afternoon, we're just going to have a conversation, man. If you guys are anywhere in Liberia, here in America, in Europe, in Australia, join us. Even if you want to come on the show, I will send you the link. If you have a counterpoint, come on screen. Let's have a conversation. If you believe what the president is doing regarding the fight against drugs is wrong, let's have a conversation about it. But this is my position, and we're going to discuss that position here. I want to welcome you guys, man. Yeah, thank you for popping in here. We're just going to spend maybe an hour or two, depending on how the conversation goes. Let's talk about the drug issue because I believe it's being handled properly. Maybe I could be wrong, and then you have an opposing view. We can have a discussion as to what you think should have been done about the drug issue. We're going to be fair about it. We're going to be respectful about it. Have your political position. But what President Bwaka is doing against the fight against drugs is the proper way to go about this. Nobody is being shielded about this. Now, you can have your conspiracy theories. You can have your, I think that he's so involved. I think that the president bringing order. I'm not going to condone that here, unless, of course, you present hard evidence. If you get something to show and you're willing to present that evidence, we will listen to you. But if it is speculative, if you're just going to say, Dwalu is the one that bringing drugs into the country, I'm not going to entertain that. What I'm going to entertain is a discussion, a fair discussion about the approach to drug removal out of our country, whether or not the president or his administrators are doing what they are supposed to be doing to make sure drug is removed from the country. And that's what I'm going to be discussing here. Thank you guys for sharing. Let's have a conversation. This is about Liberia because a lot of people just passing around and, the president, I'm fighting drug. The president, I'm fighting drug. This is your opportunity to, if you want to come on live, I will actually send you the link. If you're not going to be rude about it, I will actually send you the link. Call into the show. If you don't want to do that, call into the show. We'll have a discussion about this drug issue, fair discussion about this drug issue that is plaguing Liberia. And I want people to understand it though. The drug in Liberia, the land drug have been there for 1-2 years. This drug has been entrenched since 2018. And what this president is doing is trying to entrench, if that's the word, to remove that deep hole that they don't dig drugs and put it in the country. And it's not going to come out quietly. People will make a lot of noise. And we will have that discussion here. In the meantime, I'm going to get some water to drink. But you'll be listening to my sister Mianta or my brother Makula takes her through the streets of Monrovia. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Her lasting legacy will be that she unleashed George Weah on us. That's the legacy I give to Mrs. Salif. Sorry.
You don't think very much of George Weah?
Have you met George Weah?
Yet to. I'd love to interview him.
Oh, he can't talk much. You won't get much out of him. He's not very articulate either. I'm sorry. He's a fantastic football player.
Yes.
Okay? He's a fantastic player. At least that's what they say, because even when I was in England, I wasn't that much into football, and I understand he played at one time for Liverpool or something. Yeah, I didn't follow his football history. But the background that I come from, we didn't see football players as national political leaders. And I'm sure that's everywhere in Africa. I mean, I never heard Ghanaians saying Abedi Pele can be president.
Abedi for president.
Can you imagine? Will you have Abedi for president?
Oh, he's not a politician.
Well, this is our own case too. George Weah is an Abedi Pele. They should stick to their profession and everything. But Madame Salif thought it would be interesting. Under the guise of generational, So she unleashed George Weah.
Because he was VP before he became president, right? Was he vice president before?
No, he was a senator.
A senator.
Yeah, he was a senator.
But the Liberians chose him. She didn't force them to vote for him. So the unleashing.
Yeah, she did it because I'm saying at the end of the day, how did he get into the political class? He could have stayed there forever. We would not have voted for him. The majority of sound thinking Liberians, they would not have voted. But Madame Salif, like I said, foisted him on us, literally held up his hands and as the successor. And there was nothing we could do. I mean, we didn't have the capabilities of printing extra ballots and those little things that happen in African politics. Yeah. But he was a disaster for the country. Go to Liberia now. They will tell you he was a disaster.
So it's quite a damning verdict from you.
No, it's just the truth. It's not damning. My thing here is I have sympathy. I can even have sympathy for George because I know his limitations. He had absolutely no interest in governance, in governing our people. He was just happy to be president, enjoying himself, doing a booga dance, drinking and partying. Yeah, this man was a football player. How do you expect him to come and read a 530-page budget?
His finance minister will read it.
But that's just it. He had no idea they will read it. They didn't even bother him with those kind of issues because he could not deal with it. Yeah, that was George Weah. I mean, I know a lot of people mesmerized this football player. And in fact, some of my Nigerians said, when I said, oh, he was a disaster, and really? They are all surprised. And then I asked them, so you think, what's the boy's name? The big one there in Nigeria, the football player. Kanu. I said, you give your country to Kanu to run? And then that's when they think.
Yes, that was Big Sister Miata Formula. But like I said, this Sunday, I'm here because, I've been really watching social media since Saturday. Actually, I wanted to come on yesterday. And I know this is not our normal schedule, but I intend to come here today to have a true discussion with Liberians from across the globe. And if you need an opportunity, if you have a very valid point you want to make, I don't mind sending you the link. Let's have a discussion about drugs in our country. I don't know one president in our country's history, in fact, on the continent of Africa, that will be this brave to confront the cartels of drugs in our country head on than what President Bouaka has done. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a supporter of his administration. I'm saying this because this is the truth. If you have a counterpoint, those of you who are on social media and claiming that the president is not doing the right thing and the way the president going about fighting drugs is not the right way, please, I will want you reach out, put your comment in the thread. I will bring you on screen live. Let's see your points that what President Bouaka is trying to do to transform the country as it relates to removing drugs out of our society, whether this is not the right way to do it. He's doing everything. Let me tell you something. President Bouaka does not have control of what a superintendent in Rivers does, to understand what he does on a daily basis. Now, the only controls he has, if it is discovered that the superintendent of Rivers County is doing something illegal, he can only act against that superintendent in accordance with law. He cannot every day say, okay, the superintendent does something illegal, or police director does something illegal, or a DA director does something illegal. The only power the president has, and it's a power that he continues to exercise within the confines of the law, the singular power. If the president finds out that you are doing something illegal, he addresses it head on. When the LDA director decided to step aside on this very issue, the president immediately commissioned an investigation through the Justice Ministry. I was reading what Senator Amara Conan posted. Sometimes I don't understand what Senator Amara Conan is trying to get at. I don't understand his position. And Senator, this is an open invitation. If you want, I will send you the link and you can come. I just see you pop on. I can send you the link. Come on screen. Let's have a discussion, Senator Connect. If you believe your position is in the right place, I will send you the link. Come on the platform and let's have a discussion as to whether the president is wrong or not. Let's see if you have the cojones to do that, Honorable Senator. Come on screen live. Let's have a discussion. This invitation is also extended to Senator McGill. Come on screen. Let's have a discussion about Liberia. This president did not bring drugs into the country. There are reports. We all know who brought drugs into the country. In fact, before I begin the conversation, let's listen first to former Senator Prince Johnson when he spoke about the drug issue during the campaign. And then I will go ahead and then we'll have that discussion. I want to welcome all you guys, man. Thanks for popping in here. Let's listen to former Senator Prince Johnson.
The American government has already indicted George Weah-led government as being extrajudicial killers. This man married from Jamaica. He lived in Jamaica for many years. In Jamaica, they smoke opium for fun. They manufacture drugs for fun. And they want a partner through whom they can send the drug to another country, and George Weah is that partner. They have been importing drugs. How many drugs were brought in that we did not see before they finally brought a $140 million drugs, cocaine, that the American people helped us to discover? Those people were jailed and many trial. Mysteriously, they disappeared from jail, only to come to send 100 pickups to the federal government that put them to jail. They gave them 100 pickups, many motorbikes, and so much money for campaign. George Weah must go.
I'm going to take that off the screen, and I will tell you this, there is no evidence. I will concede that point. But the Americans have reported, the Europeans have reported, our own government agencies have reported that the entrenchment of drugs into our society by the cartel truly began back in 2018, around 2018 to 2020. That's when the entrenchment really began. And we all know on which administration that entrenchment was. And I was reading what Senator Amara Conan posted today. Look, any regular Joe Blow can post anything on social media. But when the senator is saying something, it carries a lot of weight. I want people, I will continue to highlight your thread if you have a counterpoint. For anybody to point out how President Boakai could address the drug issue in our country that he's not already doing. Can anybody point that out to me? Look, I want to say this to Liberian. President Boakai will fight to remove drugs out of our society. But if anybody believes it's going to be an easy fight, you're out of your freaking mind. The cartels have a lot of money. They're willing to spend that money. They will hire newspapers. They will hire radio personalities. They will hire influencers to send a message out there that the government is not doing anything. But the evidence on the ground shows that the government is doing literally everything they can to remove drugs out of the country. So if anybody out there trying to say, oh, the government not doing nothing against drugs, that is not true. Now, you can make the claim that I hear some people saying, oh, it's the president's son that is bringing the drug into the country. If you say that, you're just believing what you want to believe or will say what you want to say. Now, I am not saying it is impossible for the president's son to bring drugs into the country. This is not my contention. This is not the argument I'm making here. But just to claim that it's not sufficient, number one. Number two, when they claim that drugs were brought into the country under President Weah administration, this was proving with evidence that it was during that period that drugs were literally brought into the country. Claire Weah's brother himself, out of Sierra Leone, he was literally busted. Okay, we know the drugs really came into the country during that period. But that's not the argument I'm trying to make. The argument I'm trying to make here tonight is there anything that President Boakai is doing that you believe personally it should not be the approach he uses to remove drugs out of our country? If you're in the government, in any agency, you are implicated in any way, shape, or form, first of all, there is a suspension followed by an investigation. If that investigation has substantive evidence, it is presented to the Justice Ministry, and then it goes for prosecution. This is how it has been going. The Justice Minister has reached out to Liberian citizens across Liberia, especially. If you know anybody from anywhere who believes that what the president that you have evidence to support any kind of drugs into the country, please present that evidence to the administration. And you're not presenting evidence, but you're sitting on social media and you're making false claim that the justice minister bringing the drugs, that the NSA director bringing the drugs, that the police director bringing the drugs. Gentlemen, look, people will have these affiliations across our country. Now, I'm not saying don't investigate. It means, well, I'm not putting on the people for anybody. There's not the argument I'm making here. If somebody brought drugs into the country, I don't care if they came from heaven. They should be arrested and prosecuted in my book. I have no qualms about that. I don't think twice about it. But when you're going on air and say, the president not fighting drugs, that is a lie. That is a complete lie. First and foremost, let's listen to the president himself, what he did say, and how he's going to approach the issue about drugs. It's not me saying it, it's the president himself. I want to continue to welcome you guys, man. Anybody out there who believe they have an opposing view as to whether or not the president is not fighting this drug or the president's approach towards fighting drug is wrong, come on air. I will send you the link and let's have a discussion. Again, I will continue to send this link to Miguel, Senator Miguel, Senator Amara Kane. I saw what Senator Amara Kane wrote. I'm going to read it here, actually, regarding his position. He constantly posting about this stuff. And I've seen where people around this year have rating. My brother Stanton Weatherspoon, where they have rating regarding the drug fight against in the country. And they're just saying it. If to say you can just say anything in the country without any form of substantiation, and the people should just believe you. What should the president be doing that he is not already doing? Can anybody point that out? I don't care who you are. I will bring you on air if you have the discipline to be a professional and come on air without insulting and without making sure that we can have a show. We can oppose each other, but it's going to be a quality show that the people can listen to. Come on air. I will send you the link without fear or favor. Because this is about Liberia. And people want to make this drug fight. Let me tell you something. I posted something on my Facebook page yesterday. Whenever you see people making plenty of noise about removal of drugs in your society, the very people that are making that noise, according to the CIA, are the very beneficiary of drug money. Because when you start taking the drug money from them, they make a lot of noise. So when you see somebody in Liberia today making a lot of noise in the country about how they're arresting drugs, how they are removing the money from the drug cartel, how Liberia is making sure no drug coming to Liberia, the people that were the direct beneficiary of the drug money in Liberia, they are the ones making the noise in Liberia against the removal of drugs. They rather mortgage the future of our children, make sure our children have no future, and allow drugs to remain in the country, but they want to fight against President Bouaka because he wants to remove drugs out of the country. How does that make sense to anybody? How does that make sense to anybody? In fact, listen to the president first and foremost when he spoke about this issue. This is a man that is entirely serious. This is a man that would not stop at anything to make sure we remove the cartel out of our country. And this is a man that means business. So if anybody out there who believes that President Bouaka is not fighting drugs, please put it on the screen. I will bring you on air so we can have a discussion about this. Let's listen to the president.
And let me be clear and absolute. To those who seek to bring illegal drugs into Liberia to destroy the lives of our young people, let them hear me today. To those who believe Liberia can be used as a transit point for international narcotic trafficking, let them hear me as well. To those who believe that their positions, influence, wealth, or authority places them beyond the reach of justice, clean your ears and hear me today, well and be warned. We will identify you, we will pursue you, we will find you, and we will deal with you in accordance with the rule of law. There will be no sacred cows in this Joseph Remark Walker administration. No one who engages in criminal activity will be permitted to hide behind poverty, public office, political influence, business interests, and their family connections, or any other position of authority. So whether you're a government official, a law enforcement officer, a businessman, a custom broker, or an ordinary citizen, the law must apply equally to everyone. This is the life.
This is about Liberia. The president is leaving no stone unturned. I think before Senator Amara Conner came to Liberia, before Ellen Johnson Sirleaf won, Senator Amara Conner was living in Philadelphia. I think when he graduated from the community college at that time, Senator Amara Conner was working on a car wash. There's nothing wrong with working on a car wash. Don't get me wrong here. That's not what I'm saying. That's where he was working. And then when he came to Liberia after he left college, when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf won, Senator Conner came to Liberia. Senator Conner now currently have a $10 million farm in Liberia. $10 million farm. This is the man that would say that when I fight drugs in the country. Let me read what Senator Amara Conner posted today. And in this thing here, look, anybody letter can cause noise about the removal of drugs from Liberia. Anybody can talk about the removal of drugs from Liberia. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're saying why they're removing drugs out of the country, and you are countering that very removal with propaganda that is most likely being supported by the very, very cartel that is trying to destroy Liberia, then we are going to question you. And I will paraphrase again what the CIA has said. If you go to a society, the very people that are fighting against the removal of cartel money, the removal of drug money out of that society, usually it is that very people who are benefiting from the cartel money in their society. Senator Conner, the link is ready. If you won't come online, let's have a discussion. Let me read what Senator Amara Conner said on this page. And I'm not going to read the whole thing straight. I will read all of it, but I will read it in segments so you guys can. And we'll discuss it in segments. He says, this is what Senator Amara Conner wrote. He says, our president and commander-in-chief is actively fighting the war on drugs on two fronts. Now, he laid that basis to give you an illusion that he's supposed to fight against drugs, but he also doing the same time trying to smear people through the process. This is a simple strategy that a layman may not pick up from the jump. Fighting the cartel and dealing with his own top security officials, whom he depends on to fight the cartel. When the leading anti-drug chief recuses himself instead of facing immediate dismissal and criminal charges over a cartel bribery scandal, it clearly reflects a lack of accountability and represents a strategic retreat, choosing a voluntary recusal over a dishonorable firing and a quick corruption indictment. This is not fair to our president. This is what Amara Conner has done with this heavily burning paragraph that he put out there. And I'll break it down for you guys. So the same Amara Conner, the same Senator Conner, they have all complained that if anybody is associated with the drugs in any way, shape, or form, they should recuse themselves. And in the wisdom of Biago and anybody associated with him, I don't know the man. I'm not here defending the man. I will defend no man. Here's the issue. If Biako now say, you know what, wrong, let me recuse myself before anybody say I'm implicated in this process in any way, shape, or form. Senator Conner now saying that's cowardice. He's saying they basically he's doing it so the president can fire him. It weakens the presidency. It weakens something. This is all implied in that statement. So he say it's very weak if somebody recuses themselves. If they say, you know what, wrong, you'll do your investigation. You'll do anything you want to do. I don't want to be involved in it because I don't want anybody to tell me, say, obstructing justice in any way. This is what the LDEA director has done. Now, again, I am not supporting the LDEA director. He has his right. I don't know whatever they went through over there. But what happened immediately when he recused himself? The president of the Republic of Liberia, I will also read that letter here, commissioned an immediate investigation by the Justice Ministry to be submitted to the president's office in 48 hours. In 48 hours to be submitted to the president for action. And then Amara Conner now writing, basically stating in the last paragraph, he said, in the last sentence rather, he said, it clearly reflects a lack of accountability. If somebody recused themselves, reflects a lack of accountability and represent a strategic retreat. No, it represents responsible leadership, that you're willing to recuse yourself so the investigation can go on. And he continued, choosing a voluntary recusal rather, over a dishonorable firing and a quick corruption indictment. This is not fair to our president. So he giving an appearance as though he supports what the president is doing, but he's also implicating that the president is weak in some fashion. That's what that statement said. He continues, we fully support our president in this two-front war and urge him not to let his advisors hold him hostage. The president is not a child, Senator Connor. The president of the Republic of Liberia is not a child. Nobody holds the president hostage. The mere fact that you are saying here, you're not implicating, you're saying directly that people are holding the president's hostage tells me that you have an ulterior motive. You have an agenda, Senator Connor. He should move beyond superficial optics and be the CRC to flush out all enemies in this battle against illicit drugs. This is what Senator Connor is saying. So Senator Connor is saying that everything the president is doing is superficial optics. The president firing people, the president suspending people, the president commissioning an investigation, the president prosecuting people, the president arresting drugs, taking drug cartel officials and putting them in jail for prosecution, the president contacting the Americans to get involved, the president contacting the Europeans to get involved, the U.S. Embassy, the charge d'affaires of the U.S. Embassy, getting actively involved, supplying material, manpower, intelligence. Senator Scott is saying all of those are superficial optics. The president should be a man and be the commander-in-chief and stop allowing people to hold him hostage. Senator Connor continues. This was his campaign promise. We will wait and see what he does on Monday when the 48 hours are up. This is Senator Connor. He's talking two sides out of his mouth. This is what Senator Connor is doing. He's saying the president working, but the president not working. But we'll wait till Monday, even though we know he's working because he has submitted them for investigation. And if evidence shows that he's part of that, the president said, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And the president has done that very thing that the president said he's going to do. Senator Amara Connor is coming back and telling the Liberian people that the president is being held hostage. The president is not man enough. The president does not make his own decision. And he's urging the president to do more. And in the same vein, that the president is not fighting drugs, even though it appears as though that Senator Amara Connor opposes the fight against drugs. What kind of man is Senator Amara Connor? Senator Connor, I will continue to say that the link is available. Let me know. I will bring you on live. Let's have a discussion. Senator Connor continues. One thing that is worth highlighting for our president is that public distrust remains high following the massive multi-million-dollar cocaine bust due to the ongoing internal turmoil within the investigation. You see how two-faced and you see how conniving and very meticulous and calculated Senator Connor is. You listen to the sentence again. He said, one thing that is worth highlighting for our president is that public distrust remains high following the massive multi-million-dollar cocaine bust. Look, how can people distrust the government when the government is busting cocaine at the same time? I want you to understand what Senator Connor is saying. He said, even though the president busting so many cocaine out of the country, the people don't like why he's busting all the cocaine out of the country. Again, remember what the CIA said. Whenever you see in a society and you see the people that are fighting drugs, the people that are removing drugs out of the country, the very people who are the beneficiary of that drug fight, those will be the people that will be countering that fight. Exactly what Senator Connor is doing here. Let me read that again for you guys. One thing that is worth highlighting for our president is that public distrust remains high following the massive multi-million-dollar cocaine bust due to ongoing internal turmoil within the investigation. There has been no turmoil within the investigation. So Senator Connor just lied openly to the Liberian people. Senator Connor, the president, will continue to fight this case. And there is no ambiguity here. There is no distrust because the president is fighting drugs. Drugs has to be removed out of our society. So Senator Connor, if you get mad because they're removing drugs out of Liberia, too bad for you. This battle will be fought. Senator Connor continued. Everyone mentioned so far by media institutions like Spoon, this is a source. Spoon, Front Page Africa, this is a source. Verity News and Activate Monty and Cully has either been arrested, fired, or self-recused. Look at the kind of thing. His source is Front Page Africa and Spoon Network. This is where Senator Connor, a sitting senator from the Republic of Liberia, believes his source is Front Page Africa, the House and Agenda, and Spoon Network. I mean, I don't know how can a senator that we are paying thousands of dollars every single month can come and say this, and he believes this is okay. Senator Connor continue. We thank them immensely for their investigative journalism and advocacy. Otherwise, this would have been a cold case by now. Senator Connor is saying if it were not for Front Page Africa and Spoon Network, the drug fight that is being orchestrated, that is being pushed by NSA, the drug fight that is being pushed by the LMP, the drug fight that is being pushed by the LDA, the drug fight that is being pushed by the CIA and the FBI, the drug fight that is being pushed by Interpol, by the European and the Moroccans, the drug fight that is being pushed by every security agency, by the joint security of the Republic of Liberia. If it were not for Spoon and Front Page Africa Benin, the president was not going to arrest one drugs in the country. This is what Senator Amara Kone is saying to the Liberian people. Again, the CIA was right. Whenever you see in a society and you see there is a massive push to fight drugs in our society, the very people who make the loudest noise, the very people who are countering that push to remove drugs from out of our country, usually those people are the direct beneficiaries of the drugs in that society. Senator Cunningham, I don't know what you're up to, but we will read this whole thing and we will take it apart. Senator Cunningham continued. The only confusion now is the senior security people the president fired from the NSA and LMP in relation to this investigation are still free men. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine this? We all sat here. This is what Senator Cunningham is saying. Senator Amara Cunningham, I believe he's the senior senator out of Buffalo County, saying all the people that the president has fired from the security agencies, from the LMP, from everywhere else, all the people the president has let go, all the people that were involved in this drug that have recused themselves, that have been sent to the Justice Ministry for prosecution, they are walking around free. Can you imagine? Senator Conan, I would think you'll know this. I want to believe you'll know this, that when a man is accused in our country, that man must have due process rights. This is guaranteed on our constitution. We cannot extrajudicially just go ahead and arrest a Liberian citizen and put him in jail without due process. Even the drug issue, it's a non-billable offense, but there are conditions there where they can be billable. President Bouaka has no jurisdiction over the courts in our country. President Bouaka cannot tell the courts what to do. President Bouaka, as a member of the executive branch of government, can forward the case to court. It doesn't take one day to adjudicate a case in Liberia. It takes some time. These people who have been accused in Liberia, they do have rights, Senator Connett. They have to be granted their rights to go through the process. So if you're saying that President Bouaka should just put it in jail and lock them up, Senator Connor, I believe you should refer back to our constitution and try to read the constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Liberian citizens do have rights in the country, and President Bouaka will not trample anybody's rights simply to make a point. The fight against drug will continue. Senator Connor continues. He said the president has given up to Monday for those investigating themselves to report back to him on their colleagues who allegedly took a bribe from the cartel. This is what Senator Connor is saying. So basically, he's accusing everybody who's investigating now to be implicated in the drug removal out of Liberia. He said they're investigating themselves. The LDA is not being investigated by the LDA. Is being investigated by the Justice Ministry of the Republic of Liberia. This is posted on the Executive Mansion website, on the Justice Ministry website. You can go there for yourself, Senator, and find this out. Nobody is investigating themselves. There are divisions within every agency and every government agency across our country. Just because you work for the LMP and the internal police division, or they call it internal affair, is investigating you, it doesn't mean the police is investigating you. It's a subdivision within the LMP that investigates a wrongdoing by police officers. So they're not investigating themselves, Honorable Senator. That is a false accusation, and I hope you can read it. Senator Conan continues. At the same time, activist Martin Colley has announced that his investigation has finally unraveled a very important mystery in the $3.7 million drug bust that investigators have been looking for. This will lead to a new arrest. He has promised to upload hard evidence from now to Monday. This is the source of a sitting senator from the great county of Buffalo. His source is what Martin Colley is going to do. He has uncovered new evidence in the investigation, and he are willing to upload that on Monday. So Senator Conan is making a prima facie case based on speculation in the future that Martin Colley is going to release something that is going to make sure more people get arrested. It is the same Senator Conan saying the president and the government is doing absolutely nothing against the fight against drug. Can you see how slamming Senator Conan is becoming in the process? He continues. Senator Conan continues. We're almost done with Senator Conan. So Monday is a big day for Cocaine Gate. He's calling the administration Cocaine Gate. The administration that is actually fighting the drugs out of Liberia, burning hundreds of millions of dollars of drugs. He's calling it Cocaine Gate. He's saying Cocaine Gate, it goes back here to the U.S. It's a reference to Watergate, you know, when the government were literally tapping people's phones here in America on a what's the guy's name, administration that will actually had to resign. So he likened it to Liberia, and we have no such thing in Liberia where there's a Cocaine Gate going on, because the president is actually being transparent about this process and going through this entire process. So Senator Amara Conan is wrong again. To all my fellow citizens, Senator Conan continues, to all my fellow citizens who support President Joseph Yamam Bouaka and want him to win this two-front war, keep speaking up. The message, you see what he done, we see what he's done there. Senator Conan will accuse you, so he called it, he accuses you, he caught you with 17 knives, then he blows small breeze on it, pretending to be that he's the kind of person that supports something right, but by the same token, he's undermining what is good for Liberia. Let me explain that again. He will go ahead, he caught you 15 different ways. He backstab you, okay? And then he blows small breeze to say, but hey, I said the president doing good. After he accused the president of several things, accuses the administration of several things that are false, then he will come by and say, the message, President Senator Conan continues, the message that government is beholden to the people and that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, which is the central message in our constitution, defines our relationship with your government. We must make Liberia unattractive to drug traffickers and their Liberian protectors. This is everybody's business. You see what he's doing there? This is everybody's business, and I will keep speaking up for the silent majority, many of whom are victims of the drug epidemic our president is fighting. You see what he's doing there? He accuses the president and the administration, the entire threat, then he can't, but yet the president fighting drug. That our president is fighting. We must speak for the silent majority. My source is Front Page Africa. My source is Spoon Network. My source is something in the future that Martin Colley is going to publish. This is the senator out of the great county of Buffalo. And then he concludes. He said, a blessed Sunday to all my church-going friends. Please pray for our president to have the courage to act and win this two-front war to save Liberia from the cartel and bad state actors who are enabling them. This is the sitting senator of the Republic of Liberia talking two sides out of his own mouth. This is how dangerous Senator Conan is. Senator Conan, like I said, I saw you. If you want, I will send you the thread. Come on the platform. If you believe everything you're writing here, I dare you to come on the platform and defend it. We send you an invitation. It's impromptu. I understand it. But if you believe what you have written, we are giving you an opportunity to come on the platform. I know you will go out there and say, oh, I can't go on our platform because the people will disrespect me. I won't go on our platform because I was not prepared to go there. I don't go on our platform. You wrote something. You accuse the president of doing nothing. You accuse government officials of literally bringing drugs into the country, and the president is doing nothing about it. You accusing administrators of literally investigating themselves. You have no confidence in the justice ministry. You have no confidence in the security arms of our republic. You have nothing to support every claim you have made. Your source is Spoon Network and Front Page Africa, and something Martin Colley might publish in the future. How is this okay for a man that's supposed to be highly educated in our society? How is this okay? How is this okay, Senator Connor? This is dangerous. You cannot bite and blow. This is unacceptable. If you're going to say that the president is doing nothing, and in the same vein, in the same word, in the same speech, in the same thing, you say the president is fighting drugs. The president is removing drugs. Remember, this thing is entrenched in our society since 2018. It was heavily entrenched on the previous administration. Do you know what it takes to uproot drugs from our society? Are you telling me that the Americans are also wrong? The CIA sending all this money out there, they are also wrong? Are you telling me that what the Europeans are attempting to do is also wrong? Are you telling me that the joint security, everything they're doing is wrong? Are you telling me that the justice ministry, everything they're doing, they're entirely wrong? Are you telling me that Prince Johnson from the NSA, everything they're doing is wrong? But only you alone out of Bapolu County, who all of a sudden can afford millions of dollars after serving as finance minister of the Republic of Liberia to get a massive farm in Bapolu County? That you're the only person that is right? Senator Conan, you know I got nothing but love for you. But the way you want to treat Liberia, I don't agree with you. You cannot bite and blow. This drug must be removed. And before I welcome my brother Blair here, I'm going to say to you, Senator Conan, the CIA said this. Whenever you're fighting drugs in a society, whenever the authority go after drugs heavily in our society to remove it, like it's being done by President Boakai, the very people in our society who were the direct beneficiary of the drug proceeds in our society will fight against that very removal of the cartel and the drug money from our society. I hope this is not the case, Senator Connor. I would do exactly what you've done. I hope this is not the case. If this is the case, it's very shameful. And I hope you can come in the public to defend this. The platform is yours. I will send you the link right now. I'm actually sending you Messenger. I'm going to send the link to your Messenger so you can be able to come on if you so please. My brother Blair, welcome to the show. Let me send Senator Conan the link to give him an opportunity to defend himself.
Thanks a lot, my brother Dwalu, and good evening to everyone, our listening audience. It is good that we are here today, an impromptu class. Okay. And I was about to go live when I saw you put that stuff up. I said, okay, then better on chit chat a little bit with our people. You know,
You're muted, Blair. You're muted.
oh, you are getting me now?
Yeah, we're getting you now. And turn your volume up a little bit if you can help. No problem.
Oh, my volume. Okay, just a minute, please, guys. My volume.
Yep, that's okay.
My volume here is to the highest. Is it okay now?
Yep. It's much better.
And so I saw, like I said from the beginning, I did a podcast on it this morning when I saw it. I haven't posted it up to now, but I'm putting in the process now to post it. But you see, it was so deceptive that you will see the insincerity of people like Amara Conan, that you will see that all people like Amara Conan are doing is to break a government down that is fighting hard, a government that is working beyond other government before her. Now, if you want to take Verity newspaper as an evidence to dismiss somebody and dishonorably fire somebody, then who are you? It is only the justice ministry that can come out right there to the Liberian people and say, this person is culpable for this act. Now, the thing here is this. We too, we've been hearing a lot of stories. Who owns that vehicle? Let Amara Kone come and tell the Liberian people who was actually using that vehicle. It is clear that Biago, and I'm not here to talk for Biago, okay? Because you can look at a clear criminal case of corruption the Liberian government is fighting. You people sit and fight the Liberian government on the corruption case where people stole millions of dollars from our country. Y'all sit and say it is witch hunt. And then you, the same person today, will say a publication from a newspaper should be used as a facts and evidence to fire somebody and dismiss somebody dishonorably. Now, let me see if I can get a few excerpts of that, if I can. So, fighting the drug war against security, this, that. And then he said, facing the criminal cartel bribery scandal. It is clearly, okay, we further support the president in the fight against this. He should move beyond and the optics and CRC, this, that. So he's asking the president should have fired this guy instead of recusal.
Recusal. But Blair, before you go forward, let's see what it just, I mean, what the president published on the executive mansion website. Because it's only fitting that the people know, because you know this thing about, look, when somebody recuses themselves, this is now weakness on the part of the administration. This is what should be going forward in Liberia. So in Senator Conan's suggestion that recusal means that the president is weak, it is not a fair assessment of what Amara Conan should be doing. This is what the Ministry of Justice, what the executive mansion has published on their website. For immediate release, anybody can go there and read it. President Bwakai orders immediate investigation into LDEA matter. Saturday, August 8th, 2026. Executive Mansion President Joseph Yoman Bwakai Sr. has acknowledged the communications from the Minister of Justice and Attorney General regarding the recusal of officer in charge of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzgerald T.M. Biako. Following a review of the communication, the president has directed the Minister of Justice to immediately launch a comprehensive and impartial investigation into the allegation and all related circumstances surrounding the matter. The Minister of Justice has been instructed to submit a detailed report to the president within 48 hours. No president has been that quick to turn around something, but we're addressing it. Let me finish reading this stuff. President Bwaka reaffirmed that the administration remains unwavering in its fight against illegal drugs, organized crime, and corruption, and emphasized that no individual or institution is above the law. He stressed that the investigation must be thorough, objective, and guided solely by the facts. Upon receipt of the investigation report, the president will carefully review its findings and determine the appropriate course of action in the best interest of justice, accountability, and the people of Liberia. The move comes in the wake of emerging public allegations and social media reports linking a pickup truck allegedly connected to the narcotic suspect or trafficker to the LDA ORC's office. In his letter to the Minister of Justice, LDA ORC Biago said he was taking the recusal from his active duties and functions as head of the LDA. This move, he noted, is aimed at preserving the utmost integrity, transparency, and public trust of the National Anti-Drug Campaign and to ensure an unhindered, credible administrative and security investigation. Waiting more, anybody who understands responsible governance will ask for Blair. Unmute, my brother.
Dualu, there's a third name associated with this pickup. And before I go forward, I would say Fitzgerald, he shot himself in the back. If he had acknowledged that pickup, then it is a different story we would have been saying here. There's a third name on that pickup, a guy called Momo. Okay. Momo has also admitted to the investigation as per the calls that I have made, that pickup is actually belonging to Leroy, the guy from Private Bar. What I've heard is that Momo is the one who encouraged Leroy to come to Liberia.
But Blair way, I'll give it. You must say it. I don't even care if Biago accepted the pickup from the drug dealer. What is clear is, soon as that information reached the government, they took immediate action. This is all that matters.
It matters. That one matters. Okay? And so the thing here is that from a common sense perspective also, because all of the information out there getting. So I asked myself, this guy been in the security sector for a very long time. If you got this pickup from this man and they are napping those from in the security sector who are involved with this cocaine issue, how can he still be using this in his convoy? It's the question I ask myself. Because what I have been made to understand is that Momo traded his Jeep with Leroy to be using because he goes on the farm and he go far back with Biago. And he was at the RIA before. And when this government came, they put him down. So Biago was always having along with him. But my issue here with Biago also is, why bring somebody close to you that is not working with the security apparatus? What you should have done, acknowledge that pickup and give the reason why that pickup is in the convoy. Because everything that Amara Conan have said here, and that pickup being in the convoy, it does not suggest that somebody is guilty. Now, how far
It
the
doesn't.
national security?
And yes, that's what Amara Conan say.
Yeah.
He said, okay, so if somebody, and the thing is, what's making me a little bit angry about Conan, if somebody recuses themselves, it makes the president weak. And listen to my sister KP Badero here. And this is true. This is why we are having this show, guys. Your comments, if you want to come on, I will literally send you the link, or you can call into the show. We'll put your numbers on. She said,
for professional ethics' sake, it is professional ethics.
Thank you.
Biago is the head of the LDEA, the principal institution of government that fight drugs and prevent drugs from coming to the country. If he is accused and he's a member of the investigating team, he cannot be on the team and being investigated.
Thank you.
You have to step aside. That's professional ethics. Saying,
but here's the second point, Black.
My being accused and still being active on the investigation, it creates then on the investigation. There's lack of transparency.
Amara Conan, in his statement, he said officials were investigating themselves. Then when an official recuses himself, he accuses the administration of being too weak. Why, yo? Look, let me read what Kid wrote. Kid said, recusal is tantamount to transparency, removes barrier to the investigation. That's what happened in a responsible country. He's not denying, he's not hindering, he's not putting a barrier, he's not doing anything. He said, let me move my hand for inside. Y'all do your investigation, submit it to the president. If I'm implicated in any way, shape, or form, I'm pretty sure the president will take action. He has done repeatedly. And this is wrong on the part of the senator. So Senator Conan, like I said, I saw you. I sent you the link. You got about 2 or 3 payable page. I sent it to all of them. If you want to come on the show, please, sir, join us. Let's have this conversation, because the way we're doing about Liberia is not alright. This thing has to stop. We got to fight this drug. How about welcome to the show? Blair, let me go up to you before How about come in.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it's just the right thing to do. You haven't seen this kind of a professional ethics where you recuse yourself to allow the investigation to be transparent, where your colleagues will ask you the necessary questions for you to provide or be able to clear your name, or at the end of the day, they're going to nip you. So, people like Amara Conan, you were even finance minister under a government that was alleged to be inherently corrupt. On your watch, as a fiscal governor of the country, you did not resign. In these Western countries, if you are the head of the financing things, the financial service, and there is corruption allegation, these people are very quick to step aside to give way for independent investigation. That is how it works. Professional ethics. giving you Amara Conan. If it comes out today that your office has been siphonning and diverting monies that is geared towards your office for the use for government purpose, and that allegation comes out and it is strong, you have to recuse yourself, turn yourself in to be investigated. That professionalism. It doesn't mean that you are weak. You are only given a chance for transparency so that the right thing must come to the public. But Amara Conan again, he and his man Snow, they're going on a friend platform tonight. The thing is propaganda.
So, Blair, before Hawa come in, I think we'll get some people, so we'll start muting when we are not speaking going forward. But I'm going to say this. Amara Conan's source is Spoon Network. It is a network he's going to. His source is Front Page Africa, where he rushes to go ahead and make his claim. His source is Verity News, where he goes there. How can Amara Conan come and tell the government of Liberia that, yeah, you're fighting drugs, you're doing all this stuff, but you are not fighting drugs at the same time because you got investigators within the government? Look, let me ask you this, though. Can the president control what you do as Minister of Justice when the president is not looking? The only thing I believe the president can do is when the president finds out that Howard Golakais has done something outside the confines of the law, he takes action. That is his limit. If he does nothing, there's nothing he can do. Can the president control what he can do if he appoint you on your everyday life? You're muted, Howard.
The first thing, the reason why the president appoints people is because he has some trust in them to do the right thing. So the president is not there to babysit you or to micromanage you. Some people maybe in the past we had presidents that did that because they interfere in everything. But this president have decided to make a difference. That is, I'm going to give my people the chance to do their work. I mean, if I call them for cabinet meeting, all I want is what they have done is some report showing that they are taking care of what they should. But going to Senator Conan paragraph, I don't know how many paragraphs were those. I read some and I was just like, it's foolishness. Because as a sitting senator, to even write what he wrote, it makes no sense. If you can read it, analyze, and read between the lines, it makes no sense. But because Amara didn't think that Liberian people's eyes are still closed, they think they can manipulate people, so they still continue to do those things. So I don't understand what he mean by 1 second, all the fighting, the next second, they investigating himself. He lived in America year before. You Dwalu, you are a veteran. Police department, other people, when you work somewhere and something happened and you are to go on an investigation, they have people that do that. It's not equal to the police investigating themselves. They have departments in every organization that is responsible to do that. But because Amara is aware that a lot of Liberians are not knowledgeable enough to know some of these things, so they continue to play on the minds of majority of the people. That is just what it is. That's what he continues to do. Because you as a senator, you should be able to do your own independent research and stuff. You depending on Martin Colley? Is Martin Colley's source reasonable one?
Future publications, not even immediate. Future publications that we're depending on.
Yeah. You know how many times on TV have said something and they come back and you find out it's not true? You depending on them. Today I watched a video that Front Page Africa posted talking about car stock between Grand Jude and then the other car moving. So those people
you're gonna see Blair video. You're gonna see Blair video, and the reason why that was over there. These are the last we're talking about. You're gonna see Blair's video. I just watched that video, Hawa, and just to break it down. Even though we're not here for that, but Hawa, you got a clip. Okay, send the clip to me.
Send the clip.
You got a car that broke down in front, and you can see the road. The road is still pliable. This is not a rainy season. The road still pliable. Cars are moving. Those trucks are not stuck. But because another truck blocked the road by having the accident, so all the cars then stopped. The thing now, all cars they get this talk in, but you can see the road and another car moving on the side.
Another car moving so
And that was
fast,
from the Africa
exactly.
published.
Yeah.
So the thing we talk, look, here's the reason why I came here to the audience. There's the reason why I came and put the show on. If anybody can point to any method or any way that you think what President Bwaka should be doing that he's not doing, that is valid, please come on. If you can keep your professionalism, you don't have to agree with anybody. I will bring you on live, or you can call into the show and say, listen, this is what the president will be doing that he's not doing. Is there anything, Blair, that President Bwaka should be doing that he's not doing that you can think about? Anybody in the audience, please post that. And somebody posted, I think that what you can just say, the president controls everything in the country. That is not true. The president has tremendous powers in Liberia. I know that. But if the president appoints me in Dwalu, the people who go for all my point the president know it. All the dealing why doing the president know it. All my honor call the president know it. So to insinuate that the president is privy to every little detail what his officials are doing in Nima or in Rewase or in Bapudu, that is not true. Crocodile is something you will do. Also, the only thing the president can do when the president finds out that Hawa has done something illegal, he can only take action within the law, and that's exactly what he's done. So, Blair, let me come to you again. Is there anything that President Bwaka has not done to address the drug issue that you can say he should have done this, but he's not doing it? Anything, Blair? On mute.
Dwalu, if a president says there will be no secret cow, he addresses everything. The president says, wherever the chip leads, follow the crumbs. The president is bold upon that. He's keen. Whether it's my son, whether it's the vice president, whether it's the speaker, Senate pro tempore, anybody, there is no secret cow. There is no other way. The first thing here is this, Dwalu. If this government wanted to sweep this thing under the carpet, the extent at which we've reached since June, we wouldn't be hearing about this. That is the level of seriousness that this president has.
But blah. You raised a very valid point. I can let you skip it. Senator Connor said in his message that he wrote up, he said a spoon and Martin Colley and from Africa, if they're not going to expose the drugs, tell them they're a cold case, then nothing was going to be done. This is where how far the senator has come. Go ahead.
Dalu, the thing is clear. From people like Amara Kone, they are already compromised. Because Amara Kone and Stanton, basically, let me forget about Ernest Snow, because Ernest Snow is an opposition. Amara Kone sees himself as somebody who worked to bring this government into being. I don't know how far he came, how long he worked, because in the second round, he came when all of those war rooms were already set up by this guy from Legis right now. It's the guy who set up the war room. Amara Kone came and postured himself as the person who set up that war room, taking glory for someone else's work. And that is why he has shown to people to be that he was the cause of this government winning the elections. When the American told George Weah, don't try that nonsense. We are watching this election. So Amara Kone doesn't find his way. Amara Kone saw the Unity Party again as his playhouse where he would have come again and dominated the rest of the people, and this president did not give him that chance. And the young men and women in Unity Party, what they experienced from Amara Kone under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's administration, they wouldn't have gave him that opportunity to use them for the second time. So everything you will see Amara Kone doing, Amara Kone, the central point there is want to prove a point that I can bring you down. But what he's forgetting to understand, what they are doing is circulating amongst the people from within the opposition, especially the CDC, who feel happy to hear these things. But the people, that development and everything that this government is doing is impacting, they don't care. They don't care. All they know, they're giving chance to that the government must be able to fight this thing to the logical conclusion. And all those that are responsible must be brought to justice. That's it. So like I sent that video to you, Dwalu. So the hairline was like this. The hairline was like this. Tapeta, Nima County. The road between Tapeta town to the Grand Jida border has been blocked since yesterday, leaving more than 100 vehicles and pedestrians traveling in opposite directions stranded in a long queue due to deplorable road condition. That was his headline. And that video is so noisy because of the wind. That is why you see this thing that we do, Dwalu. We spend money on it to get results. And I'm glad that we are able to get one of the results based upon the audio in that video. So people could not hear what the guy was saying. And that video is not even Front Page Africa recorded video. It's someone else's video they saw and they just took that video and put it up. I spoke with a lady who arrived interpreter from that role. She said she told me the same thing because she commented. I texted her and then she texted me. She said it is a car that fell. But cars, smaller cars can go in opposite direction, but the trucks could not go. But be as a maid, Duado. Look at those heavy trucks, those tankers plying that road, and you see the condition of the road like that, and you call it deplorable? Is that what you call deplorable? With those kind of heavy equipment that are plying that road years ago, those kind of equipment, there will be holes that cars cannot move along. But play the video for the people to hear, my brother.
Yeah, Blair, look, the thing is, look, I don't, y'all know we don't come on Sunday, but, you know, I've been following social media, and some of the things that are happening, it's something that's bothering me when we try to literally downplay the improvement that are being made against the fight against drugs. Look, the Mexicans have fought this thing for over 50 years with their military, with a multi-billion-dollar budget. The Europeans spend over $600 billion a year fighting this drug scourge in their country. The cartel have a lot of money. We know what the Americans have done here in America. There are cities in America that are being lost to the drug fight. So for President Bouaga to come in and all in 3 years to be arresting officials, to be doing everything, burning drugs, putting out special commissions and units to go after this thing. And you got people in the country who believe that they're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to be fighting drugs. And I was just reminding what the CIA said. And this is, it seems that what is happening in Liberia, some of these organizations, those who fight against drug removal are usually the beneficiary of drug money. Let me talk again so you can understand. The people who are fighting the government for removing drugs out of Liberia, usually, according to the CIA, are people who usually are the beneficiary of the drug money that were in the country. So the free shopping area, then they closing. The President Bouaga closing so many free shopping area, even though we're not here for day today. But let me play this video to show you how Front Page Africa can lie. But I want you to look on the ground to see that road where car can get stuck on, especially trucks. Every single Liberian who's alive, I would say over the age of 15, just to be sure, because we're trying to born him already, never leave single before. But every Liberian know where bar road low. Like I can find 10,000 pictures of bar roads across our country. In fact, before I play the video, I want to play one small, so a small bar road.
This is the condition the graduate road before JNB became president. And this is why Zoe Penner continue to praise the JNB government that the Grand Jira road is now good. Car is moving freely. Congratulations to it. Look at the honorable.
Thank God. That's all I just wanted dropping out. All I wanted to see. But let me show y'all what Front Page Africa is peddling as truth when the evidence is obvious, 100% obvious. Instructions for my blade cover there. I'm gonna have you respond to the instructions for my car stuck, but the other car going. You don't ever see it before. Then the message is car still getting stuck on Grand Jide Road. The people that ain't living in Liberia, Blair, you cover the thing extensively. That respond to them. We'll go back to our drug thing, my brother. And Blair, you're muted, and I will still continue to extend an invitation to Senator Connor. I'll send you the link. I know you can go on network. If you can come here before you say you were not given a chance, I try reaching out to you. Come on the show. I'll send you the link. Let's have a discussion about what you're saying, that the government is doing nothing against this fight against drug. That your nuanced message, I already dissected your message. Come on the platform. Let's have a discussion, Senator Connor. I also extended to Senator Miguel as well. If you want to come out, listen to your interview yesterday. But I'm going to comment on our role before we go ahead.
Yeah, and so Dwalo, it was so funny. I mean, there's the rainy season. Okay, you expect the roads to be slippery, but there is one worse thing that you cannot rule out the possibility of a car falling on the road, because in Liberia we do not do what we call examination for car road worthiness. You know, people don't know that with seasons you have to change your tires. Okay, in the dry season the tire that you use, it should be different. In the rainy season your tires should have a more deeper grip. Okay, you use the same tires that are being worn up. Some of these tires do not even even have lines there.
That one I disagree. Leave that one. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
So Dalu, I'm just giving the possibility for which a car or a truck, because I mean I'm sure that truck, because I'm sure it is a truck, because if I just small car, then those big trucks will be able to make that way on the other side. But in Liberia, many can just say car. So it's a truck. So the possibility of a car, even though the road is pliable, but the possibility of a car falling is possible because the roads are slippery, it's rainy, the tire is not good, your car will fall. And that is what happened on the highway. It got people stranded. And because people are not hearing the audio rightly, you come out and lie, deception to the people and say, he's trying to say, they said the Southeast Road is good. But you look, people, hundreds of vehicles and pedestrians, and other people are stranded on the road. I mean, it's very bad. This is where the press union, no reason why people say, that's the reason why people say the press union is corrupt. You have your people making this kind of a deceptive reportage. You do not pull them and ask them why you make this kind of a report. But if a government official comes up and say, the media is corrupt, you go and hold meeting because you feel that you are untouchable. That is a very bad practice. And the press union of yesterday that had integrity, it is inherently contaminated by these young people who are presiding over that fourth estate today, Dwalu.
Yeah, but look, Blair, you live in Europe. I live here in America. In China, sometimes people get stuck on the road due to accidents and not 2 days. It is, Google this. I am not exaggerating. Here in America, sometimes when accident happen, you'll be in a traffic for hours. Because the book got plenty of road here, so we can go like this. But all across the globe, when there is an accident, sometimes, especially when it's a massive spill, the chemical spill, then we can reroute the entire traffic. Honorable man, welcome to the show. But however, before I come to you guys, let's move. If you're not speaking, let me play this video from the president, because these reminders are necessary. The president is right on this very topic. He's spoken exactly his intentions of the drug issue in Liberia, how he's going to handle it. I don't know how still my brother Amara Connor will come up and say the president doing nothing. The president just allowing the drug to fester in the country, the government doing nothing. Then towards the end, after he cut you 50 different times, and he said, yeah, but the president fighting draw, but you got to make it quick way. We're waiting for Monday when Martin calling publish information that my final source. Let's listen to the president, what the president said about drugs removal out of our country and how he feels about it.
And let me be clear and absolute. To those who seek to bring illegal drugs into Liberia to destroy the lives of our young people, let them hear me today. To those who believe Liberia can be used as a transit point for international narcotic trafficking, let them hear me as well. To those who believe that their positions, influence, wealth, or authority places them beyond the reach of justice, clean your ears and hear me today, well, and be warned. We will identify you, we will pursue you, we will find you, and we will deal with you in accordance with rule of law. There will be no sacred cows in this Joseph Nimak Walker administration. No one who engages in criminal activity will be permitted to hide behind poverty, public office, political influence, business interests, and their family connections or any other position of authority. So whether you're a government official, a law enforcement officer, a businessman, a custom broker, or an ordinary citizen, the law must apply equally to everyone. This is the life.
Thank you so much. Before I go to Councilor Mahawa, let me come to you. And I'm being very serious about it. On the corner, I will continue to urge you. I've sent you the link every single way. Please come on the show. Let's have this discussion. We would love that, Senator Connor. And let's see the points that you're making, whether they have any validity. But because if they don't, you have to apologize to the Liberian people. However, is there anything President Bouaka should have done when it comes to the fight against drugs that he has not done or he is not doing? Can anybody point to that? Like I said, I will send this link to anybody who's listening, who believes that President Bouaka is doing something against the fight against drugs that is not right. I will send you the link. Come on the show. Let's have a discussion about Liberia. Respectfully, of course. I will send it to you. Again, however, is there anything the president is supposed to be doing that he's not doing or he has not done or not attempting to do to fight drugs that you can point to?
Dwalo, absolutely none. We have a precedent. Like, I was on our show yesterday and I was like, look, for the first time in my life, we have a president that cares for his people. President Bouaka is doing everything necessary that any other president, any other country would have done in this situation. He is not protecting anybody. He is following the law. He also not trying to break any law because he's trying to fight this whole drug situation. He is following everything step by step, making sure that every report that is giving him is factual before taking any step. So for me, the president is doing well. And I do not understand why people that are also part of this government, because you in the Senate, you are part of the government. You are not different. I don't understand why people like Senator Conan, Edwin Melvin Snow, I don't understand from the time they started doing joint statement. I mean, with my common sense, just looking at things that they have posted online, I would say maybe they're receiving money, because it makes no sense for you to see this government taking every effort. We saw the past administration, there was a drug case, and we saw no action taken. We never saw them arresting anybody in their government, in the security force. In fact, I don't think there was ever any investigation to the extent now that ever took place. So for anybody to think that the president is not working, I think they're dreaming. I came across a post today and I just decided to comment. This person was like, oh, what, we're not bringing the head of the cartel back 2029. I said, oh, if this is the head of the cartel, that he's a good head, this is a good cartel boss.
I saw that comment.
I saw the comment. Killing his own children and arresting and going every corner to take drugs from there, I will support this cartel boss that I did first and will continue to support him. If we put him in a wheelchair, we'll put him in a wheelchair to carry him there. So President Bouaka is doing everything. Everything
Thank you,
a president should do.
Thank you, Hava. Look, the fight against drug is a very complicated thing, Councilor Ma, and we all know how tough this thing can be. And you would be naive to believe that the very people who are the beneficiary of the drug money in Liberia, and these guys have millions of dollars, don't expect them not to fight back. But what we can all not say is to say that the administration is not doing anything. Look, just because somebody works in the government and that person is implicated in the drug issue in Liberia, that doesn't mean the government is not fighting this case. The government is fighting this. There have been suspensions. There are a lot of investigations. There are prosecutions pending. There are people who have been recused. One of the claims being made by Senator Cunningham is a recusal. It's akin to being weak on the part of the presidency. I don't see it that way. A lot of people in the opposition were talking about why these officials are not recusing themselves. And then the recusals start coming. They say, "Oh, the president too weak. He allowed people to recuse themselves." Yes, the question to you, Councilor Mine, put that to your intro as well. What is President Bouaka doing that he's not supposed to be doing, or what he should be doing that is not being done to make sure drug leaves the country? Because I don't see anything. He's shielding nobody. Nothing is being left to chance. Investigations are being done, not just locally, but internationally as well. Is there anything we are missing? And anybody who believes something is missing, please reach out on the thread. I will bring you on the platform. Let's have a conversation. Councilor Ban.
Dwalu, let me say good. Oh, the afternoon on the side, and good evening to everybody who's listening. Look, I can walk over here. Let me tell you, y'all leave my dressed up right now. It hot in the place here, so I just can walk over. They think I don't wear no kusu. That Dwalu put it on Sunday. I know what. Hey, hello, good to see you. And my brother Blair, man, I miss you guys too. I miss you guys for the last week.
You ran away from us.
Oh, you get. I just wanted to test your pulse to see if y'all gonna miss me, but I ain't miss me. Nobody asked for me, so all right.
When it was tying in post target.
I want to do what I love to do best. I'm passionate about to serve my church. So I was at a 1-week church convention, so I couldn't actually be on effectively, but I was following, Dwalu, and it's good. Let me again always thank you for what you do. Yeah, man, I can't walk about and you won't give me hot. Hot here today. Somebody's I'm gonna go to wear kosu. I went out. But Dwalu, I think that tomorrow will be a very interesting program. And today you just took it off. You say, I don't know, I just saw the thing on. I was like, what Dwalu come and do again? Say come. So I said, okay, let me go walk about. My man, leave me, man. We put on t-shirt. They think t-shirt is not wedding. They my skinny say, you just leave it. You just forget, but you just listen to the thing I'm talking. Forget about my skinny shirt. Don't look at my skinny arm. That Dwalu now in the military, I don't get push weight and do all those kind of things. They can't leave me. All right, but back to the question. Dwalu, I think you ask, what is it that President Bouaka is doing that he should not be doing in the fight against drugs? It is simple. You shouldn't be arresting people. You should let the drug pass. You should close your eye. You should make some small money for it in your old age so you can carry it to your grave. You should sit and let your children and all of them get into it and enjoy it. Because that's how people believe that Liberia should be. No law, no rule of law, a reckless state, where people had the audacity to just get into accounts, take money and spend it recklessly. People, Dwalu, you'll be amazed when you hear, even amongst people within the past government, how monies. I was shocked. I was in some place in some discussion and heard some people talk about the amount of money that was giving. One of the reasons why people say most of the cities people vote with finance, say that president gave over $100 million for campaign. She eat the money. So all of them vest, this one, that one, So this is what people expect Liberia to be. So that the money so that central bank keep depleting, keep taking the money, spending recklessly. All the contractors can't go to work, so they leave the road works. And just get all the little young getting behind, just put it in apartment, buy cars for them, send the money all around. So people say, oh, money, plenty in the place, you're just spending it because they don't work for it. That is what President Bouaka was supposed to do that he's not doing. He is allowing now to tighten. He's closing all the loopholes, which is not comfortable to many people. He is bringing accountability you know, to the country, where now people are held accountable for the stewardship of public office, where people now know that there is a head nigger in charge. You know, there is a master on the ship, and he takes no nonsense from anybody. And so that is making many people uncomfortable. All right, it's making many people uncomfortable. And you see, Liberia has been a place where politicians, so-called politicians, always look at these kinds of things and think that it is always the negative things that can bring them up and show them prominence. But now also President Bouaka is putting a situation where it is difficult to find the negative news. So it is difficult for people to find a way to mudsling or throw something to make them relevant. So what they do is that they pick on these things and they try to give a bad spin, and they try to give a wrong a perception of what is happening, because it is getting deeper and deeper into people's feeling that it is no longer business as usual. All right, I can assure you that right now, even with people who work with the Unity Party government under President Bouaka, no matter who you are, the signal has gone out to them already that you're working and I have implicit confidence in you. But if you cross the line, you will face the wrath. He has shown that there is no sacred cow. He has shown that if you cross the line, you will face the wrath. And so what is happening in Liberia today is that it is a dawning of a new day. And as I said, Dwalu, there are some people who you speak about, and maybe tomorrow, I have prepared to do that tomorrow. I'll just coming in to pass by. But, we'll look at the whole thing from people who, look, you see, when you have the power of the microphone, when people sit on the microphone, that's one thing I learned as far back as 1998 from the broadcast training in the UK, that when you sit behind the microphone, you must know that you don't only send your voice to people, but you have the ability to transform people's lives. You have the ability to determine the course of action. You can shift the country's narrative. You can even shift what people think and how people react to certain situations. So you must always, that's why they always tell broadcasters to use your broadcast responsibly. Because one broadcast you can say can turn an entire country upside down. And most of the examples they will always use is Radio Rwanda, Radio Kigali, where it was by that when people started to refer to their countrymen and women as cockroaches that turned people against one another, and 1 million people were slaughtered within 3 months. 3 months slaughtered about 1 million people, just of the power of the media, from the power of the microphone. But when we have Liberians at home and abroad who have the privilege of this social media or traditional media, and believe that because people can listen to them, because people can tune in, and because people have, look, I must be honest with you. For over the years, the Spoon Network has been able to, and that's where I'm going, it's been able to build a certain cloud over the people in Liberia, whether you like it or not. All right? And Liberians go to Spoon. Look, you walk around, see Liberians talking, some Liberians talking about things that you wonder, but where did he get it from? The only thing will tell you, I heard it on Spoon. I heard it on Spoon. The people say it on Spoon. The people.
But she was senator. She was senator be saying that. A senator.
No. What I'm saying to Alu is that when people get so glued and used to that, it happened to me before when I was working at Truth FM, when I was working on ELBC. People would go full confidence and tell you, say that the Super Morning Show, when Ambrose Man says so, that's it. And so when you have that kind of sway over a nation's population, you must use that responsibly. You cannot afford to be reckless. You cannot afford to be careless. And then under the guise of that is freedom of speech. That is not. And those are the kinds of broadcasts that are not protected under the Freedom of Speech Act. All right. So when you damage people's reputation, when you damage people's images, look, I'm going to expand on this tomorrow about what Stanton was doing to our foreign minister. And I think I sent a message to the information ministry that they should try to package that press conference of the foreign ministry, because there are things she has said about our country, where our country has come today, that we think we're just glossing over. We're overlooking it. But that few moments she spoke about the worldwide recognition, the respect that Liberia has across the world today, we cannot allow anybody to come and damage that because you think you have a powerful media institution. We cannot allow that. Absolutely not. And that is where, for me, we will start to go after. Look, I respect people with a media institution, but when you try to intentionally damage the reputation and image of our country, then you have us Liberians to contend with. And I tell you, Stanton has us. And anybody can tell him, me for one, he has me to contend with going forward. All right? We cannot allow that to happen. And the biggest hypocrisy for me is to read a write-up from Senator Snow, because he wants to align now with Miata Beslu. I mean, with what her name, the Minister Beslu. He now starts to this. Can you imagine Senator Snow telling people that don't be accusing people falsely, don't be insinuating that people are criminals, don't be the same thing you and Amara were just doing on the same spoon. The same thing you are telling the people that they should put out pictures and images and information to implicate the vice president. You were the same people sitting on the same network. Today, the same network coming and saying it is not right to insinuate when you don't have proof. Did you have proof when you were calling other people's names? When you were saying that the government is shielding certain people, did you have proof, or do you have proof? When you were saying that you have the information of the person who signed for the first drug consignment in London, do you have proof? Today, you want to turn around to say what? So that people say that, oh yes, the senator. Look, this kind of hypocrisy, we cannot accept it in our country. You've lost your respect. For me, he has lost my respect. I will be very honest. He is my friend yet, but the respect is not there. You understand? So, to all of these are the things that we need to look, because if we don't do so, we allow people to continue to think that they have the authority or the master over the microphone. People don't have the master over the microphone by making up lies, and you knowing that the Liberian people let to hear negative things, so you have 10,000 of them listening to it. It doesn't matter for me. But you don't have the mastery over the microphone. But if you try to use that microphone to tear down our country or people who work hard for this nation to bring them up, then you have some of us to contend with. So just a passing by. Yeah, we are there. They won't come back. I don't think the minister is going to spend our time to go sue this person or sue that man. That man is not suing plenty in Liberia. There, he got plenty cases there on defamation. But you will be met with the same network he's using. We will meet on the same platforms, and we will see who will stand and who will stand the test of time. But we must not allow people to turn us back and bring the negativity, because that's all. You talk about Senator Connie. And I think Mo Ali said it 2 or 3 days ago on this platform, that Bwaka is not someone who, once somebody accuses you, that is going to take action. A responsible leader says, there are too many things coming up against this person, investigate. When the investigation leads to something that you have done wrong, then the president can act. And I can assure people that if the investigation leads to the fact that the OIC of the LDEA had done wrong and it is punishable, President Bwaka will have no hesitation to punish him in the 48 hours that is called for that report. But I can also assure you, if that investigation comes out and clears him, I'm sure, I have no doubt that President Bwaka will reinstate him and ask him to do his work. He is not going to listen to anybody on kind of foolishness. So what for the investigation? Why would he say for somebody to recuse themselves? That is a sign of, that's a demonstration of leadership. That's accountability. Even anywhere you are, if you are ahead of something and something comes up, the best thing is to recuse yourself so people come in to investigate. When Amara Conan was finance minister under President Salif, did anybody ever recuse themselves when they were calling for all the things that were happening in our government? Did they recuse themselves? Nobody. Did he talk about people, the president firing people when people were alleged, even her children were being accused of this and that? Did he alter any word? So now is that President Baga doing the wrong thing to ask somebody to investigate his own appointee to the LDA? Is that wrong? Or you just want him to get fired, man? Then they go investigate, there's nothing coming. Wait for the investigation. And I'm sure that now that we have been clearly informed that there are other international partners working with us to investigate these people, they will not hide anything from us. They will not hide anything from the government. They're not going to shield Biago. If Biago is culpable, he will be punished. But I can assure you, if he's not, if there's nothing, if that investigation clears him, some of us will be the ones calling for his reinstatement, because we will need all the people who are brilliant to do what they have to do. So let the investigation take its course and let the axe fall where it has to.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Other Walker Ball, it bears some serious fruit. And thank you very much. We want to appreciate you on that. But Blair, let me come up to you, because sometimes we make this insinuation. Honorable man covers so many things. I don't know where to start from, because I wanted to piggyback off some of the stuff he did say. Look, the image of Liberia is far bigger than President Boakai. We can have disagreements in the country, Blair. There is nothing wrong with our disagreement. But if your intention is to smear the country, then you're posing a risk to all of us and our children and our posterity. Let me put it that way. But I want to post this on the screen for a second. This is an extract from Amara Conan stuff. I read the whole thing point by point, but I will cover point by point here. Blair, I will read this one. Amara Conan said, we fully support our president. Remember now, he's talking in two sides of his mouth. He will go up and down. We fully support our president in his two-front war and urge him not to let his advisors hold him hostage. The president is a small boy, or do his own thing. The advisors are holding him hostage. He should move beyond superficial optics and be the OIC or CRC to flush out all enemies in this battle against illicit drugs, a serious national security threat. This was his campaign promise. We will wait and see what he does on Monday when the 48-hour is up. Now, let me say this to you. I'll call you back in a second. Let me say this to you. The president is doing his job. He doesn't need Amara Conan reminding him. There has been no investigation in Liberia this serious that the president gave you 48 hours to just spin it around and come back to him to report, to take action. That's 2 days, 48 hours. It's not 2 days. Am I math correct? Okay, that's 2 days, 48 hours. But here's the case Amara Conan making, that the president's advisors are holding him a hostage. Everything the president is doing is superficial optics. He's just showing that he's doing something, but he's not doing something against drug. Does Amara Conan have any validity making this point, or is it valid in a way, shape, or form, Blair?
No, but that is an insult. Before Blair comes in, he has just insulted the president.
Yeah.
First thing you are telling the president, you say he must be the CIC. You are telling the president of our country that he doesn't know what he's doing. That there are advisors who are ill-advising him, and that they have held him hostage so he doesn't think for himself. There's another thing you're saying, that all the fight that is going on, all these arrests of drugs and all the people that are arresting, they are all superficial. They're all superficial optics. Then what the hell are you asking for? Sorry, I mean, excuse my language, but now it's getting beyond that. What are you asking for? What are you asking the president to do in 48 hours? So if the investigation shows that Commander Biago is culpable of something, and he's charged and sent to court, will it not also be superficial optic? What we can tolerate these things, people also, and that's what Hawa just said, that they forget to know there are also government officials. And these things incite the public against the government. And I tell people that these things are inciting the people against the government. You can't coin it in fine words for you think that Liberians don't know how to read anything, like all stupid who don't know how to interpret or know how to read and understand. You think that you're praising President Boakai? He's just insulted the president. And that is unacceptable. That is very unacceptable. Somebody able to look at American and tell you say that somebody holding hospital, he doesn't think for himself, they gave me wrong and ill advice, and all the things he's doing there, that superficial statement he's making. He will not accept that. Why would you say that to the president? Why would you say that to the president?
Exactly what I said.
And you think that's what would give you popularity?
Condescending in every way.
Very condescending indeed.
Yeah.
Blair,
Blair,
sorry.
and they have you chime in. Interpret that. And Councilor Mines right. Interpret that, Blair. You're muted. Unmute and come in. Blair, unmute. Actually,
Councilor
you're
Mines
good now.
right.
You're good. Yeah.
That is why it is good that people in Amarakone are far away from this president. Because these are people who were going to be the major reason why this president was going to be making the wrong decisions. Someone is being accused. You have not investigated the person, but you say the person must be fired. Every government around the world, even in the United States where he claimed to get his PhD, in the national security sector, they are fighting moles every day to weed out bad security actors from within the service. It is happening around the world every day. But who told you they have not heard names from within that sector that this person, that person is an informant? But as long as you haven't gotten the evidence against that person, you do not dismiss the person. You do not fire the person. These are some of the reasons that people, the Amarakone, wanted to come close to the president. President Boaka, all of his campaign promises, this old man is executing them one by one. And that is one of the reasons when the president took power, he said, I'm going to do a drug test. That should give you the extent at which, when he made that campaign promise, he put this at the forefront of his government, that whomever I make the head of my drug enforcement agency, he must be ready to fight. And the fact is that Biago and all the people, they've been working. We saw great changes when they took over. Were there not bad apples there? That pickup being in the convoy, he using that pickup. Have we actually heard the history of why that pickup is being used? Even though it belongs to somebody, but from whom did he get the pickup? I mean, the Justice Ministry is on top of this. The investigation is on top of all of these things. Do you know that Patrick have even been investigated before when Patrick was disrobed? He was investigated. That pickup came about. But the only reason is that you see this is really serious is because Martin poked him. Martin put the bait and he fell for it. Okay? The moment he said, I haven't seen that pickup, I do not know that pickup, and those videos and photos came up, it took the public against him completely. But at the end of the day, there is only one investigation from the National Security Investigation and the Justice Ministry will tell the Liberian people as to whether he was actively involved with the cartel or he's been doing drugs business in the country or not. The president have said nobody, they are not going to compromise this government for anybody. Do you think Joseph Yuma Boaka, all of the efforts that he made to become president, all of the gains that this government is making, he is going to compromise it for Obiago? Or he going to allow the Justice Ministry, even Oxford Tour, a professional activist, all a long time he has practiced law in Liberia, on the Supreme Court bar, he's going to compromise his license, his prestige as a counselor of law, learner one, for Biago. And that is why they say it's good. I like the time frame the president attached to it. That is the level of transparency of this government, that the president will say, I gave 48 hours. We never saw it in previous administration. Now, there's the thing, before I go, Dwalu. You see, I said this the other day. This president, if they didn't want this thing, because you know one of the arguments they brought, where the president went to support his son was Prophet Bar. And Prophet Bar was far from it. President want to support his son just close. You know, they are exerting every means to want to prove a point. But the point is not, it is resonating with people, especially from the grown-up boys area on the other side of the road. They feel happy to spread this thing when it's coming up. But I will continue to say, Dwalu, the Liberian people are watching. It is good that the president gave 48 hours. And giving the 48 hours in the public glare, they know that the Liberian people are awaiting the outcome of that investigation. And in a few days, we'll get to know what happens.
Thank you, Bled. If you can mute for me, how about let me come to you? I don't want to call it a smart game. I want to call it it's a counter against our republic. That the CDC boys they infested this country with massive amount of drugs, and then they're sitting on the sideline as the president tries to fight against this drug, and they pretend as though, oh, the president fighting drug, all kind of way. I want to play maybe 30 seconds of former Prince Johnson, what he said about the WLA administration, read an excerpt from Amara Kone and have you respond to this. Let's listen to former Senator of Nima County, Senator Prince Johnson, as he relates to drugs in Liberia.
The American government has already indicted George Weah government as being extrajudicial killers. This man married from Jamaica. He lived in Jamaica for many years. In Jamaica, they smoke opium for fun. They manufacture drug for fun. And they want a partner through whom they can send the drug to another country, and Joshua is that partner. They have been importing drugs. How many drugs were brought in that we did not see before they finally brought $140 million drugs, cocaine, that the American people helped us to discover?
So the issue of drugs being planted in Liberia from 2018 all the way to 2020, when the cartels were first coming into Liberia, they entrenched themselves. President Bouaka now trying to uproot that entrenchment and get them out of the country. Then we will have people like the senator that should know better. Under Ellie Johnson Sirleaf, Senator Connor, and know what happened in the administration. There was no open transparency that we are looking for, call it redundant, if you will. Transparency that we needed to make sure this is addressed. Everything was done behind closed doors. This president has come out in front of everybody. If you do something, he counters you. In fact, there's another excerpt from Senator Conan's stuff that he published. It's on his Facebook page. Like I said, I read the whole thing in the beginning. Here's another excerpt before you respond to this, Howard. He said, this is Senator Conan speaking. He said, one thing that is worth highlighting for our president is that public distrust remains high following the massive multi-million-dollar cocaine bust due to ongoing internal turmoil within the investigation. You see how he wrote that sentence? It's intentional, the way he wrote it. So basically what Amara Connor is saying in that sentence is, because the government busting drugs out of the country, it's making some people vex. Listen to it. Let me read it again. One thing that is worth highlighting, one thing I'm going to tell Liberian people, for our president is that public distrust remains high following the massive multi-million-dollar drug bust out of Liberia. You say it remains high. So Amara Corner said because the president taking drugs out of Liberia, it making the public not to trust the president. How does that make sense? On mute, Mama.
It makes no sense. But I would go by. One time I was listening to the Senate regular
that feedback.
I don't know where it's coming from. So long somebody is not muted. It might be coming from me this time, but it's StreamYard. We're trying to upload no StreamYard. But where everybody has to mute when you're not speaking. Yeah.
I remember Senator Conan standing up and saying that his people were being harassed. At that point, that was the time DEA was at the border. They were checking every truck. They were opening slippers. They were taking, just the low-class drugs and stuff. For me, I was like, and he was mad that he said they were harassing his kinsman and all kinds of stuff. And I remember me and one of my friends were talking. I'm like, how is that harassing anybody? The people doing their work. You as a sitting senator, you should be encouraging our security forces to do the right thing. But we also have to remember that Senator Conan is in a constant habit of degrading the national security in this country. He have done that on multiple occasions. Every time he has the chance, he will say something negative about our people that stay up day and night when we are sleeping to protect us. So I do not understand what he meant by the public distrust the president because he's busting drug. I think this whole drug buzz have actually opened many people's eyes. We never saw that before. There were drugs that were being busted. We saw them arrest 3 people and they were set free. We never saw the president of the Republic of Liberia coming up to say anything, to talk to his people, to say, look, the Americans told us that this drug was coming and we arrested it and we did X, Y, Z. We had a president over the year that have been very dumb, never talked to his people till his time was over. Now you have a president that is coming up to say, look, this is this situation. Liberia will not be a transit point. And I am going to do everything possible to make that happen. If you my son and your hand is cut in the cookies jar, you're gone. And you will face the law. Not only is he dismissing, but they are also charging people. Another point where he said it was artificial or they were not doing anything. How is it? When they have disrobed people, they have sent someone into jail already. Investigation is still going on. We have international people in the country helping. So how is it something bad? And the only person that will be mad are those that benefited from over the years from receiving money from cartel leaders and filling their bank accounts or their pockets. So I don't know why Senator Conan would even think that anybody mad. For me, I'm very happy, and I know my family members in Liberia are very happy, and a lot of people, because we listen to people every day. We listen to people talking. Yes, there will be few people, and I think because they lack some knowledge, out of ignorance, they say things that don't make any sense. But majority of the people, I think, will support this president, and they are supporting him to fight on this front.
So thank you so much. Please, let me go to Councilor Man real quick. You guys,
let me just say something on what you.
Yeah, but I'm coming to you.
No, yeah, I just want to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
On this particular quote that you put up. You see, first thing people need to know is that in journalism, when you are conducting investigative journalism, a piece, an investigative story, it is that story has not broken out. It is not something that is before the law authorities, but you are, you know, because like the security sector, journalism is also with confidence based. So people come and give you information, your sources, and then you dig behind your sources, dig behind the information, and you get it. And then that investigative journalism or that piece leads to arrest of people and breaking up the whole story before law enforcement. It is different from the law enforcement taking an action whilst they're investigating. Then you have people within the investigation leaking information to journalists. Then you say the journalists are investigative journalists. That's two different things. That's two different things. And those people who are doing so are very unprofessional because you have the propensity to compromise the investigation. And in this drug saga, number one, it was not the news medias that the networks that Senator Cornyn named. They were not the one that broke the news. I mean, broke the investigation about 19 million drugs sitting on someone for security to go catch it. They didn't know about it. The security arrested it first. So they didn't know about it. And secondly, why the security was investigating that 19 million, getting the CCTV footages, going to the court. Then you have people within the investigation leaking the interviews, where the next move will go, what the next thing is going to happen from in and giving it to these people, and they were putting it out there before the people even go out. That is not investigation. That is not investigative journalism. All right. So you can't come and say you're giving them kudos, because if I'm part of the investigation and I go leak to Dwalu and say, Dwalu, tomorrow we're going to arrest Blair. Then Dwalu come on Class Reloaded and say, why they can't arrest Blair? In fact, I understand they are questioning Blair and this, and then tomorrow they go and arrest Blair and say, oh, that because of Dwalu work that they arrested Blair. That's not true. Because in the investigation, I'm leaking out where the people are going next, what they are going to do next. That is not investigative journalism. And that is the same reason why these people have used this so recklessly to now go beyond the bounds. And like the minister said, you've done this so that certain people need to start to call and make them to run away. Because the investigators, while we are sitting in the investigation room trying to tell our next move, you take it from there, you record our voices, and you go and give it to these reckless people. They put it out there. Some of these people run away from the country already. Because you remember, when they started talking about the Michael Brown, right? Before the investigation could even link or go out to Michael Brown, the investigators have already hinted from Page Africa people and Spoon about Michael Brown. So they were there. But why they can't go arrest the Michael Brown? Why they can't go arrest the Michael Brown? The Michael Brown ran away from the country. All right. So that's not investigative journalism. And moreover, look, you put out there again and say that because these people you clap for them and that the president suspended or dismissed people and they are free. I think Senator Corner should read what that release said. The release said the president has ordered the suspension, dismissal, and investigation of certain officials in the security sector, and he listed them. He suspended some of them for investigation to be investigated. He dismissed some of them outrightly, and he asked all of them to be investigated. Why will you do that? As the commander-in-chief or as the chief executive of the country, the president, remember, the president doesn't have to have you criminally liable before he dismisses you. There are too many noise can be around you about certain things. The president doesn't feel comfortable, he can dismiss you. You see, dismissing somebody because of their action, and sometimes the action doesn't necessarily mean you have criminal liability. That means you committed any crime. All right? I don't want to use this particular. So, Dwalu, let me find an example so Liberians can understand. So you are the head of an institution, right? Maybe in the budget, you got money to buy 2 cars. But then you got a problem with the institution got a problem with the generator. So instead of buying the cars for the people who are supposed to go on the field, decide to buy generators so the office can work. The people got vexed, said, no, but we are not supposed to buy a generator. If the president believes that their action by you is wrong or he didn't accept it, the president can dismiss you. It doesn't mean criminally you are liable for certain things. Or you get into certain contract. It doesn't mean criminally you stole the money or you did anything. But maybe your decision was wrong. And it led the government to losing certain money. But you did not benefit, you did not do something, but your decision was wrong. The president can dismiss you based on that. So it's not every dismissal will call for criminal liability. So what the president did as a sound leader would do, these people have come up by the report you have presented to me, that these people have questions to answer. So I'm suspending some of them from their job, and I'm outrightly dismissing some of them. So people like Johnny Boladin and the rest of them, he dismissed them outrightly. Others, he decided to suspend. And he said, go and investigate them. Now, if the investigation comes out that they are criminally liable, they will be charged and they will be sent to court. If the investigation does not show that they are criminally liable for a convicted, that's something that you can be convicted on, but their conduct compromised the investigation, the president can take that administrative action of dismissing them. So by the president dismissing and suspending people and they're not in jail, it doesn't mean that he's not. Maybe that's the thing he talked about, superficials. All right? And people should know they're administrators. Senator Kone has been long in government to know this. He has worked at higher places in governance. That's why sometimes it bothers me to wonder what is going on in his mind. All right, you don't just say, I dismiss this person, get into jail, go and lock this person up. No. And like the Minister of Justice says, you got to investigate. If the evidence proves that we have something to charge you, we'll charge you. If it does not, we can't just charge you because your name is mentioned. We can't just send you to court and we don't have the evidence to obtain a conviction. All right? So, Dwalu, people need to understand this. You can't just put, so that reckless statement I did, the president suspended the people, but they put are still free people, they're not in jail yet. They are being investigated. And wherever that evidence leads, if it is concrete enough, first you must have the evidence to charge. From that charge, you must indict. From that indictment, you must go to prosecute, and then you must get a conviction. A conviction, I mean, you have to prove to the court now, beyond all reasonable doubt, that what you said the person did, they actually did it. But if you don't have that evidence, you can't just put people in jail or put them in court, because you will lose the case. And when you put people in court without evidence and start throwing your case outside, at the same librarian will come and say, oh, they just put it in there, that just show, they just put people there and they freeing them. They have to say they carry them to court. You understand? And the same people will turn around. So give the people a chance to do their work. Give them a chance to do their work. That's all I say. So our government official, and it's so bad that the same people who are part of the same government are the people who all the time trying to bring down the same government you work for. You're trying to instigate the people against the government. Every fight, every step the government make to fight this thing, you poke holes inside, you try to bring it down and discredit the people. That the same people who say they will fire all the investigators because they know anything. Now the same people say, go bring international people. The international people now come still. They're calling, I don't know which one they want again. What do they want again? What do they want? But again, people say that the drug people know how to fight back. And they'll find every means to fight back. And they call, you can walk about to on Sunday. You can walk about to the platform on Sunday. Yeah,
I think you're muted, but you probably gotta go and come out because you're unmuted and we cannot hear you. So while you're doing that, let me say this though. Honorable man, you're absolutely right. The thing is, first of all, Senator Connor saying the president being superficial optics, the president is being held hostage. He went on to say the president is doing this, doing that. And number two, he says the president fighting drugs, but the president arresting drugs, it creates public distrust. And this is what he continued saying. He said, everyone mentioned so far by the media institutions like Spoon, this is his source, Front Page Africa, Verity News, and activist Martin K. and Cully, has either been arrested, fired, or self-refused. That what you just said right now, when somebody mentions something, somebody wrote and say, we thank them immensely for the investigative journalism and advocacy.
Yeah, but I said they're not investigative journalism there. You say you say we come to arrest them, man, they go arrest the president, you see that investigative journalism.
And Councilor Man, when you mentioned, this is what the president wrote when those guys were dismissed. That was on the 30th of July. From the executive mention page, anybody can go there and see this. President Joseph Yuman Boakai has ordered the immediate dismissal, suspension, investigation of several officials of government and law enforcement personnel following his review of the latest status report on ongoing investigations into major narcotic trafficking cases. So that's all the president can do, is to make sure he does what he's supposed to do to make sure these investigations go on. Paul, you've been listening, you've been following. Your take on this issue about Senator Connor and some of the, I would just say the way he talks about the president, the claims he's making, I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe you have a better insight into his psyche to explain to us what's going on.
Well, can y'all hear me, first of all? Can you hear me? Okay. How you doing? So good to see you. I was listening to you off screen and on point. Very much on point. And I agree with you, Councilor Ma. You know, there's a difference between ethics and ethical violations. All crimes are unethical, but all ethical violations are not criminal acts. And you can be unethical and not commit a crime, right? You can, but all crimes are unethical. So in the case of the president dismissing someone for doing something unethical, doesn't mean that that ethical breach, which is a breach of duty, means that the person's committed a crime that they need to go to prison for. I think the example you used was good. You can do something unethical and it's like lie about something and it's not a crime, right? And it's still, now you've breached trust and therefore you can't be trusted in this role because you have been dishonest. All acts of dishonesty are not criminal. Some acts of dishonesty reach the level of criminality when they cause loss of property and other things. This man's a lawyer, I'm not, but I think that's the most layman person way of explaining it. When it comes to Senator Cornyn, listen, the cartel in Liberia, whether it be drugs or other things, there's been collusion between people transcending political parties for a very long time. When I worked in government, there were people who were in a clique that protected each other, that did terrible things. And I think it's time for us to start talking. If we're really going to clean up Liberia, we got to tell the truth and explain some of the things that happened. You had people who were in a clique that protected one another and made sure that they positioned each other in positions and jobs, advocated for each other so that they could continue to collude, not necessarily with drugs, but with all kinds of things. When I was at Transport Ministry, for example, it was Minister Cornyn who recommended Angela Bush to Transport Ministry. And I'm not accusing either one of them of any crimes, but what I'm saying is that woman's presence at the Ministry of Transport, for me, was a hindrance to me doing the work that the President, Sirleaf, at the time sent me to do. She did nothing there but fight me, and it was Cornyn who empowered her to be there. They're the same people who took the license plates that we designed and the whole motor vehicle registration system that we put into place as Liberians. That should have been printed in Liberia, and she, Angela Bush, made sure she took that whole thing and sent it to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to be processed by somebody that she knew personally. That, in my opinion, is more than unethical. I think there were some other issues there that should have been handled differently. But again, it was Cornyn who pushed her there and defended her and protected her. Why am I saying all of this? Cornyn, I think for a long time, I believe that he's a good person, but his behavior in this situation seems to me like someone who, again, is trying to protect somebody's interests. I've seen it in him before. Amara, you have to do better than this. I know a lot of us are angry and traumatized because of what happened in Liberia and the war and all this kind of stuff. But there has to be a point where we have to think about Liberia and put the country first. Liberia has done much for you, my brother. Liberia has done a lot for you. I cannot think of another country in the world where you would have ascended to the place that you've ascended to. I cannot think of another place in the world that would have given you the opportunities that you have. And because of that, you owe the country your sincerity. You owe the country more than this manipulation. You owe the country more than what you're giving it. Amra, for God's sakes, my brother, the benefits that you've yielded from being a Liberian, from President Sirleaf, and now from the Liberian people empowering you in Bopolu to be where you are, my hope, Amra, is that your conscience will yield or guide you to do the right thing. Stop this thing you're doing. The very first time this situation happened, when you came out and started berating the security sector, I spoke about this and I said it was wrong. I'm going to pause there because I'm getting a message that's telling me I'm going too far, but I'll come back. Let me deal with this situation. I'll come back. Y'all know me. I'm going to be silenced, but let me handle this person that somebody I respect. I'll be right back.
There you go, too far.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to say this. Look, in Liberia, we like to cover up. That's why some of us, when I was in Liberia, I was a private sector guy.
How do you see that message on that very Coast Guard have detained that ship?
Yeah, actually, the Liberian chased
Coast
the
Guard,
ship. Yeah, the Ivorian Coast Guard. So it went into Ivorian water. So the thing people, in fact, people try to politicize that as well. So these ships, they just go to Google, go to YouTube. They go from country to country. Will pour. Sometimes they dump garbage. Sometimes they dump chemicals in your water. Sometimes they will just leave your old ship somewhere and run away from there. So luckily we chased them out of our waters. They went to the Ivorians, and luckily now they got arrested. They're supposed to, our drugs that we're bringing. No, that's not how the drugs dealer don't do that like that. And every other thing we politicize. Look, I would say this. This fight for Liberia. One of the reasons why I even came on this fight for Liberia, it cannot be a fight that is done lackadaisically, where we say no wrong. We're not going to talk it too hard. This is not about President Bwaka. President Bwaka has lived a full life. A full life. Our children then must inherit this place. So when somebody is trying to damage Liberia's progress, look, here's the question, Blair. Let me ask you this. What does one stand to gain if he or she opposes the removal of drugs out of Liberia? Let me talk it that way. So what does a Liberian stand to gain if he opposes the removal of drugs out of Liberia? Or should anyone oppose removal of drugs out of Liberia, Blair?
Dwalu, I was asking a question to somebody who called me today. I said, what is the motive of these people? This government, the government is fighting drugs. What are they fighting against the government for again? During the time that we saw zombies in the streets, the efforts that are being exerted today, we didn't see a Councilor Man. And these same people, whether they were in their private practices like Amara Kone and Ernest Snow in the National Legislature, the amount of effort that he's exerting today, becoming a senator panelist, degrading that sacred house. He didn't exert that effort. What is he fighting? What are they hiding? What are they pitching? They want for people to focus on to distract the national the investigation. I try to wrap my head around this thing these people are doing, and I cannot still come to understand why are they fighting. Okay? So the thing here is that the fear is they thought this government would fail. And the actions that have been taken by this president, boldly putting his chest up against all odds and telling them, no matter what you do, this government will triumph. And that's what we're doing, Dwalu. Ernest Snow, like I said, for Ernest Snow, I will put him aside because he's been in opposition. And Ernest Snow doesn't know what he even wants. But for Amara Kone, it's from the personal, vindictive, and emotion aspect where it's coming from. And Amara Kone, from the emotional side and personal side, Amara Kone dream is to become president in this country. And if he does, the only way he can popularize himself. What Amara Kone and the people that Ernest Snow are doing is now for the interest of the people that are fighting that drugs. The people, they didn't care yesterday. They care today because as the government succeed and Joseph Yuma Bwaka decides to go for another 6-year term, it weakens their chances. And if Joseph Yuma Bwaka goes for another 6-year term, and look at the 3 years, what has happened. The great transfer, I call this time in the history of Liberia the great transformation. There's a period of the great transformation under 3 years. Dwalu. And we see if Bwaka goes for another 6 years.
The great transformation.
The great transformation.
That's right.
That's the era. That's the era we are going through now. So if Bwaka goes another 6 years, Dwalu, where will Liberia be after that 6 years? And the Liberian people will see all of the work that is being done, and the vice president is learning what Joseph Yuma Bwaka is doing with the vice president. He's teaching him. He's not just being a leader. He's not just being a president. He's governing, and at the same time, he's teaching. And all of these things, and what the vice president is learning from this president today. If Joseph Yuma Bwaka steps aside after the next 6 years, do you think the Liberian people will let to stop the progress? The great transformation will continue for another 6 years. That's just it, Zalu.
Thank you. My brother Rosa Pro, welcome to the show. We talking serious national issue. He said the man go to the gym. the man, the fittest senator.
River says Pro, I thought you left social media. Maybe you blocked me.
You know the thing. They will sit there and say, Nangbe. They will sit there and say Nangbe. They will sit there and say Nangbe. They will sit there and say, you know the irony about it, the hypocrisy. They will say Nangbe is not doing his work. Nangbe is on the internet 24 hours. But for they, the 24 hour in the gym, they see that on internet, they make like a whole pamphlet. 3 times a day, they make a red pamphlet. Those are, look, the only thing I can maybe to see the thing when you finish summarizing, when you finish summarizing, you're talking about it, I understand. I get a picture to read a pamphlet.
Go, before you come in, let me ask you this so you can tie the meat into this though. Because this question, Blair responded, but he did not fully respond with all the questions. Yeah, so what is bad about removing drugs out of Liberia? Why is this making people awkward? What are they intending to achieve if drug is not removed from Liberia?
I mean, it's clear people benefit from this, right? And we talk about ethics all the time on the show and the fact that it needs to be taught. It's very tempting. We need to be honest as Liberian people. It's very easy for us to sit and point the finger at people. Oh, that person doing that, but we need to be honest. It's very tempting. I talk to a lot of Liberians behind the scenes, and I listen to their ethical mindset and what they think, how they think. They speak to me candidly. I won't name them. I was just told by my mentor I should not be naming people's names, but whatever. I already did. But
you already cage you in the play on the platform. We're so tired of moving on the platform.
I know that's why you gotta be calling the money. What are you doing? But that's true. I lie on her. Yeah, when I'm speaking the truth, that's the truth. I don't have to hide names. I mean, if you don't want the name to be called, don't do rudeness and nonsense, and don't lie and steal and be involved in corruption if you don't want your name called. So anyway, people behind the scenes, when you have private conversations with people, they say, "Well, that thing, somebody just tell you sign one paper and say let it thing go, and they give you some kind of 50,000, 20,000. You will not do it? Hell no, I will not do it." But the thing is, how many people, this is the question that was asked to me, think like you, Cole? Even the people that are talking that won't condemn the people who are being caught, how many of them would have done it differently if they had been in the position to do it differently, right? Money is something that Liberian people culturally, and not just Liberians, but I don't know if we've always been this way, but I've noticed culturally, Liberian people will justify anything once money is involved. They will justify it to themselves once money is involved. Oh, what's wrong with it? We'll end the kush thing. There's local people that are getting on the drugs. We'll stop the ghettos. But I will allow these people to move their drugs to Europe because I want that for my people. That's a justification. I will get one, pick up. I will get some kind of money. I can put my wife, my children in good position. The thinking of our people is the challenge here. It's one thing for us to be doing all of this. It's a challenge for people to do all of this until we start to talk about the ethics. And, people are in religious organizations, they're Christians, they're Muslims. But until we really start to introduce ethics and the thinking process that is needed for national growth and development, we're going to fail. We will not have enough jails for everybody. I'm not saying that majority of Liberian people will do wrong. What I'm saying is the people that I've spoken to behind the scenes think that I got problem because I think this is that. I would never do it. I worked in government. I was tempted in government. People brought schemes to me when I served in government. Ask them, I never went along with it. It's not because I'm stupid. It's because I have a higher standard that I set for myself and I understand the world differently. Money is not my God. Money is not my God. And so when you bring things to me, I have a conscience. I have an understanding. I have a compass that I live by. Everybody is not like that. You've got people who, in that Liberia there, got together and betrayed the country, betrayed Liberia, said they were doing a progressive movement, destroyed the future of so many Liberians because they wanted to be president, not because things were so bad that they could not naturally elevate themselves in the society, but because they did not have the patience. They wanted it right now. So they joined and lied against the country and did horrible things. It's the same mindset. The pursuit of power, the pursuit of money will create an environment where people will do almost anything to get there. That's what we really need to talk about. So Dwalu, the thing you see Amara doing, I'm not saying that Amara is involved in the drug cartel. I would never accuse him. You know, I think Amara is a decent person, but I do believe that Senator Conan and Snow and others are somehow benefiting, or they're connected to people who they think they're defending. The other day I saw Edwin Snow, who had come out and been accusing all kinds of people on the internet. All kinds of people, he and McGill, who I will more likely believe are involved in something before I really believe Amara is directly involved. But anyway, that's a different story. Snow and McGill, Snow went and wrote a whole post defending our Minister Beslow. And I said, for God's sake, if I'm ever falsely accused, and Edwin Snow is the last human being on the planet to defend me against a false accusation, let him persecute me, let him allow me. But Edwin Snow will not be the one to defend me. Let it stay. Let it stay. He will be the last human being in the world. They lied on my name. Everybody lied on my name. And the only person left to defend me that Edwin Snow, let it stay. Let the people lie on me. Let it persecute me. I will take it. All I gotta say, I was shocked when I saw him writing.
I said,
you going to defend? It's almost like he intentionally defended a woman to make her look bad. There are certain people, when they come to your defense, your case finished. If somebody accused me of embezzling funds and Samuel Twag come defend me, how will look? You understand what I'm saying?
Let's finish this thing up. I won't give the audience some time to call into the show, guys. But how I close out on this topic tonight, because this thing for me, I know the senator. But you like walk up, but you wear tint out that you want to stay alone so they can see.
I get that, but that walk
about. So the people, you know, and even look, this drug thing is very deep. The expectation for me, those of us who know how the drug thing work, if you were in America in the 90s, I mean, if you go back to the 80s, it's still a massive problem here. If you go into Philadelphia, parts of Atlanta, New York, any major city in America, the drug is very, very heavy. To take it out of the society, they're not for fun. These people have a lot of money. This fight against drug has just begun. President Bwakai cannot be in Cape Mount to determine what a police commissioner out of Cape Mount does. But what he can do, if it is determined that a police commander out of Cape Mount is involved in the drug business, he can send him to court for prosecution and remove him. That's exactly what he's doing. Yes, the thing I want you to respond to, Hawa. The issue is the president is fighting drugs across the country. Everybody sees this. Why would anybody want to politicize this? It's just because to gain political point, when what they are doing is to find a way to diminish the country. If you listen to what the foreign affairs minister said, she spoke very clearly about this issue. You cannot pin Liberia image out there bad simply to gain political point. Or do they understand this, or they don't just care about it? I would think somebody like Senator Snow, who's at ECOWAS, or Senator Conan himself will understand what image remains for this country and how we present this country to the rest of the world. Why are they countering this without any cost whatsoever? Before we go to the phone lines tonight.
I just think that people don't care. They don't. I mean, for the longest, for me, I grew up in Liberia, grew up through the Civil War. So I have seen a lot of things that have happened in Liberia. People in politics, they don't care. It's always about them, their family, and close associates. They do not care about the common people. So everything I see Amara and Snow doing It's not strange. They try to manipulate people. They try to brainwash people. They're angry because if this government succeeds in fighting drugs, like we don't see people in the street, like we used to see people walking a zombie and stuff, and if they succeed and these children are taken to the rehab, people can, people start to reasoning, they will lose. They are going to lose a lot. So that is the fear. The fear is if we can control the people we can control, then we cannot survive. So this whole thing about these two senators particularly attacking our security forces, attacking the government, making it to look like the president is not working, or he does not have his own mind to think, or he know what he's doing, people controlling him like remote control. It's all about them. It's not about the country. It has never been about Liberia for them.
And yeah, Councilor Man, before we go to the phone calls, Councilor Man, guys, I want to post the number on the screen, especially if you have any opposition on what is being said tonight. Please call the Lex of my brother Pro, call into the show. All you guys, man, you can you're calling to the show, please. Councilor Man, before we go to the phone line.
Just before Councilor Man coming, by the way, how is my co-host on the political replay?
Okay. That's good. That's good. I see you guys sometime. Councilor Man, go ahead.
I think they've said it all. As I said, tomorrow we have an in-depth program to present. For me, especially on the press conference that was held by the Foreign Minister and the Attorney General, vis-a-vis whose defense, in quote, that Carl just spoke about. You can see all the hypocrisy in that write-up from Senator Snow. And the effort that people are making, who calls themselves journalists, to find means to find ways to bring the country down. Especially the latest one from Front Page Africa, where reportedly a trailer turned over, had an accident, turned over across the road, blocked the road, and they said that now the so-called all-weather passage road by Joseph Boaga is now working because people are getting stuck in the mud. And you can see the thing, and I don't understand how people can even make that. You're driving along the side of the road, you're not sticking, you see no mud. But you say, because you see the line of cars, you say they are stuck. But you're not stuck. You get driving and the road smooth. But you say the cars are stuck. And then some Liberians just take it and believe it. And I see some other guys just pushing it. The people from the other side, that the public works minister $20 million is a facing road and all that, And you see all these things. We, as I said earlier on, Dwalu, everybody have their liberty to say what they want to say. But for me, if your intent is to bring our country down, then you have some of us to contend with, because we will not sit, whether on this platform or anywhere else, for people, because what our government officials, some of them don't understand, is that if Liberia goes back into the dark ages, if the image of Liberia gets lost, I know people like Senator Conan there, they get an American passport and they can leave from there anytime. All right. But it harms everybody else. And that is why I said my focus is on the positive things that the minister spoke about, the image of our country. Look, if we're not proud of it, I was so proud when I was listening to that lady speaking. I was so proud. Yet, the first thing, they may even know what they call diplomatic pouch. They may even know about diplomacy. But they may just talk. You just talk. And then people just get to believe it. You understand? And these things, we cannot allow it to happen. We cannot allow it to happen. Because it is the country that all of us belong to. And as I said to some people, you can have a citizenship for any other country. But trust me, Liberia is in your heart. Liberia will always be your home. That's the only place you can call home. You can never, you will go up and down. Now you can vote Democrat, you can vote Republican, but for you to call America your home, it's not easy. You can't call America your home. That is why you're always attached to Liberia. So we must fix it. We're not saying it's going to be perfect. Liberia will not be perfect because no country is perfect. But if Senator Snow can acknowledge in his write-up in support of Sarah Beslow Yanti that even West Africa, every country is fighting drug, but then you vilifying Liberia, who's also fighting drug. How can you see the contradiction?
Exactly.
You say you own the ECOWAS Parliament. You say you are a ranking member of the ECOWAS Parliament, and every country in ECOWAS is fighting this drug menace. Then Liberia is also fighting it, but you vilifying your own country where you're coming from for fighting the drugs. What sense does that make?
Let me just say something very quickly.
So, you know, guys, thank you, man. I think my walk button, I'm finished, and so people can do what they got to do. But Carl, let me listen to you before I go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you hit the nail on the head. These are people who want Liberia to be backward because that's how they rose to prominence. If we never had a war, if we never had dark days, people like Edwin Snow would have had to go to school and advance themselves before they could rise to prominence. They got there on chaos and calamity. They're the benefactors of chaos and calamity, so they don't want to see normalcy. Because when things are normal, the competitors are going to outshine them. So the country should remain ignorant and chaotic for them to benefit. We're at a crossroads now between abnormal and normal, between chaos and progress. The benefactors of chaos don't want to see progress because they feel they'll be left behind or they'll be kicked out. They cannot survive in a normal environment. Under normal conditions, people like Edwin Snow will not lord over Liberian people. Under normal circumstances, they will have to advance themselves intellectually, ethically, and they will have to have certain standards before Liberian people elevate them. But they can remain in this base condition of trickery and dishonesty and still be powerful. And the only way they can do that is to try to keep the country in a mess. So they will never be celebrating any kind of progress. Don't expect it. The other thing I want to quickly talk about is people talking about, oh, why the ship had to go to Ivory Coast before it was apprehended. Let me say something to you all. ECOWAS has a joint security, joint maritime, all kinds of things that happen. When you don't know something, ask questions. The Monrovia Regional Rescue Coordination Center is the surveillance point for 5 countries. That's Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. Those 5 countries form an IMO block. So our territorial waters are all monitored from Monrovia. Enforcement happens where the ECOWAS countries that have stronger naval capabilities step in. So for example, if we're surveilling something, we can call into Abidjan and say, hey, this vessel is being tracked, it's entering, they will apprehend it. This is normal, it has always been happening. So for those of you that say that, oh, they had to go to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is our sister nation. And as far as IMO is concerned, those 5 countries are a block. Besides IMO, the International Maritime Organization, we're also Mono River Union states. We're not the Ivory Coast, Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghana are IMO block for the rescue region. Look it up, MRCC. Google it. See what you're talking about before y'all get on Facebook and stop spreading all kinds of foolishness. I just want to make that clear. It's normal. It's our normal operating procedure. That is what we've always done for over 2 decades. This is how the arrangement has been. Thank you, guys.
Very important information, Cole, there. Thank you so much for sharing that with the public. Now, I understand if you come into Liberia territorial water, you're literally stepping into 5 countries' territorial waters. They're going to work together to counter you. But Cole, you're absolutely right. In the midst of chaos, the least capable amongst us tend to go to the top because they are more brutal and are willing to do nefarious things just to get to the top. This is why you see a lot of former rebel leaders were in the House and Senate. They were running for president. If under normal circumstances, you have to elevate yourself to a proper level before that can happen. But we will make sure that happens. Once again, my caller, you're live. And the question here to the callers tonight, is there anything President Boubacar is doing that he should not be doing when it comes to the fight against drugs? Or is he doing something that you want him not to be doing? anything related to the drugs. This is the main focal point. Now you can discuss other things as well, but the issue here tonight is on the issue of drugs. What the president is or is not doing right regarding drug. Color your life.
Okay, I'm Thomas from Norristown in Pennsylvania, where I reside.
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian.
Yes, sir.
Migrated in the United States and went to school, the other stuff. So, I mean, I got a lot of concern, a lot of issue. As the foreign minister rightly stated, we got people who infiltrated through the system, either by the war and other stuff. They feel that they still running that interim government of inclusion. The portion should be mine, whatever I say there, it is right. How soon and other people can take Liberia to be in that interim arrangement. They're not looking at Liberia as a normal society that we need to improve. So that's how it looks like. And then from the educational background, I'm an educator. I graduated from Westchester University. I work with the school district and stuff. I know that. Every Snow from my giddy, was born in Kakata, Tennessee, Christopher. And then later came Morovia during the war. Our ancestors when the war came and
they give you another 30 seconds, brother. Another 30 seconds. A lot of people calling.
So, and then, so I keep saying they did not graduate from high school. How you rush it up permanent to become, to represent like Lord Echo Parliament? When he bought a high school diploma from Allison P.J. Smith. When every so you become speaker before going to the University of Liberia, what were you doing? So they can't go through the rank and formality of education, so they don't know what they're doing. They just feel that they should be always in a favor because they bought their way through. So they did not graduate from high school when they work in 1989, 1990. So I just got promoted to 11 free. As far as functional education concerned, Eddie Snow is an 11 free student.
Thank you.
How he entered UL, we don't know. He bought his high school diploma from St. Augustine. Check it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the caller. Yes, caller, the number is on WhatsApp. People are actually calling on WhatsApp. I don't know what's going on, but that number is actually on WhatsApp. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you're calling from. Hello, caller, you're live.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see Councilor Man on the show today. And thank you for you coming on Sunday today. You know, I'm so happy that the trend that going by the George Benny, the president is doing what he's supposed to do. So those dumb people that are sitting on there talking nonsense, let it be there. Let it be writing on Facebook because like one went to school and they educated people in Nigeria. They didn't wreck. At the end of the day, then the contract did themselves. That's all I got to say.
Thank you so much. Again, guys, don't forget tonight what the president is doing regarding this drug that you think is wrong or what he should be doing that he is not doing. If anybody can address that, we appreciate it. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you call it from, especially if you have an opposing view. I really want to hear from you. Caller, you're live.
Yes, I don't have an opposing view, but what I believe in and what is troubling is that President Bota is not doing is allowing people to use this drug issue to create chaos in the country. Because I can tell you for sure, Tualu, this drug issue, the way it's being discussed by the journalists, press people, and everything, have no idea or truth in it, it's creating problems. I think President Bota needs to put his head down now and stop. Because people are just accusing people, they just accuse people, media houses just accuse people without no proof of anything. And then there's another thing I was saying. You have a serious problem going on now. Santon is on against spreading another bad news that the Guinean soldiers are giving the Liberian forces up to tomorrow. They will take over the border.
Look, Baka, I want you to pause. Every time they lose a battle, they got to find a new battle or make up a new battle to put fear in the Liberian people. You know, it's like sometimes I wonder why Stanton does that. I don't know why they always do that. Whenever something is going right, then when that is counter, they come up with another thing and say, oh, now the Guineans will move from custom, they will take over custom. That thing makes sense to any rational human being that you can't take over Liberian custom. Do you know what even custom is? Finalize your talk, my brother.
Exactly. This is what I'm seeing. The president need to put his feet down. Look, press freedom do not mean that you should give people a chance to talk loosely. Me and African countries around you that people just use in the media, especially with this kind of sensitive information, just spread news. It don't happen.
Thank you.
Why it is true? Even in the United States that we find ourselves in, you can't just get on Facebook or anything and say anything that is sensitive to the security of the United States. You can't do that.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. My brother Gulat Moses, please call into the show. You can call. I offer today to give the link to anybody who wanted to come on. You were here, you did not come on. You still have an additional opportunity to call into the show with your opposing view. Let's hear it. Call your life.
Hello to you all. My name is Deborah, calling from New Jersey.
Your life.
I want to say a big thank you to you guys for coming on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you guys so much. You see those people that call themselves senator and representative in the country, and they always wishing evil for the country. I think they are just in it for themselves. Because if you're in it for the country, no matter what kind of person you support, you should be in it for the country. If the country is doing good, you should be proud of the country that you senator for. But no, they are not like that. They always want evil for the country. Who would be in favor of drugs and always putting the drug people out? And even people that are in this government, their names are being called, they are going through it. They are not even seeing that. They are not even talking that. So these things show to us that, hey, these guys are in this thing for themselves. They're not in it for the country. Even from here, from New Jersey here to Philadelphia or Delaware, sometimes there is an accident on the road. Sometimes you guys sit in the traffic for like 3-4 hours just sitting down in a car. Until tow truck can come and clear the road for you to free the path. So all of these things, they all are taking over social media with this thing and running with it and all that kind of thing. So let him go ahead. The country is still with the people that live in the country. They are seeing what is going on in the country, that the country is moving forward. So I want to say thank you guys again for coming on this Sunday evening.
Thank you. Your voice means a lot. Your voice means a lot. Thank you for sharing with us. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you're calling from. We'll take this call and 2 more callers. And if you want to call into the show, this is the time to do it. Of course, the lines are going to be busy. Caller, you're live.
Hello, this is Alexander Bala calling from Minnesota, USA.
You're live.
Today's just issue.
You're live. Don't listen to your device behind you. Just speak directly into the headset.
So, speaking to the just issue, the president is doing extremely well in this issue. I don't know where the senators are coming from with their accusations. Apart from them, irrespective, I don't know where they are getting their information from. But however, we trust what the president is doing. We believe in this president. We know this president is doing the best for the country, and we know that our country is moving up in the best way. So this is what I got to say. Thank you for allowing me on your show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. We appreciate you. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, thank you, Donald. My name is Michael Harris, and I call from St. Paul, Minnesota.
You're live.
Yeah, thank you, all of you, so much for coming here to probably respond to some of these things that I'm going to try to misinform the public about. I think in my mind it was very timely. I want to say hello.
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for making up the time to come. You see, this guy, I mean, because he's so much desperate to be politically visible and recognized, so he held on every little thing that you think it will foster his full and dare on the rival presidential ambition. He goes about just making all kind of allegations, written all sort of things, and few people who, I mean, maybe he used them to kind of be his follower. It will be a conspiracy. This is a national leader. I mean, he wanted the president to get dismissed anybody based on allegation. When he emerged on the finance minister, he was one of the most accused public officials for corruption. Did Ellen Johnson get dismissed based on allegation? To the extent that there was a point in time, there was a leak tip in the public where the former defense minister Brother Samuka were making an accusation that, oh, Amber seized the money and Ellen does nothing about it. And I tell you, according to Samuka, he resigned based on that, but Ellen denied herself the investigation. So he expect the president at the time to get dismissed based on allegation. He did a very honorable point. When he headed for that ministry, a lot of people describe that ministry as Sodom and Gomorrah. He tell us Sodom and Gomorrah. Those were allegations against him. The president, did he get dismissed based on those allegations? We expect Senator Ponet to know better. He claimed to be the more educated person that he poses himself. But we don't expect him to make this kind of allegation to think the president will just make a decision based on how he feels. So again, I want to say thank you so much, John. This was very timely to respond to this kind of falsehood.
Thank you. I appreciate you sticking around and listening to us. Obviously, guys, we'll take one or two more calls for the night. Those are you guys who say you are not going through. This is a perfect time to call into the show. Is there anything the president doing regarding drugs in Liberia that you believe is not right? Or is there something that he should be doing that he is not doing? Color your life.
Hey, bro,
how you doing, sir?
Thank you so much for today's edition of the program. I think the question you asked, I want to say President Biden is doing the right thing. He's doing well by trying to pursue this drug issue. But what I think needed to be done is, we already know that this is a national security issue in the country. And the president has every right to declare the state of emergency. He has that power. When you see senators and representatives and journalists and other people going on show and declaring that they know who the drugs people are,
I agree.
The Justice Ministry has the power and the ability, and because of security reasons, they should be cited so they can help in the investigation of this thing.
Yeah.
Better come and put the foot down and do what they got to do and not take it softer, because this is a national security crisis.
Can't get my back.
They should do that.
Yeah.
They should not compromise it, because a whole lot of people are politicizing this thing.
Yeah.
And if the government doesn't put foot down to make sure that this is they are rigid and see to it that this is clear, you are going to politicize it and just for their own good. And I appreciate your point so much, that I have to do it. I'm not going to. But those will be another day. And even with snow, they get to power by making people to be afraid. You see, some of those people in position, they don't deserve to be there.
Absolutely.
They are there because of crisis. And we know that. But today, President Biden is doing the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harris. Thank you for that. We'll take the final caller here for the night. Is there anything President Bwaka is doing against the fight against drugs that is not right, or is something that he should be doing that he's not doing that you can recommend here tonight to all the naysayers? Not a single person has called to say, oh yeah, what the president is doing wrong. So most of you now are on social media making that noise. I think you're making noise and turn something into politics. Caller, you're the final caller here for the night. Hello, caller. Do not listen to your device in the back. Listen to your headset.
Yeah, brother.
You're live.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I'm coming from the Charlotte, North Carolina. My name is Alfred Brown.
You're live.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You're live. You're clear.
Yeah, my name is Alfred Brown. I watch you every day, and I appreciate all of you guys for what y'all do. My question here is there any situation of law out there that we...
Do not listen to your device in the back. It's delayed. It's delayed. Just speak.
Yeah, would you be able to...
Do not listen to your device in the back. It is delayed. It is heavily delayed. Just speak.
Okay, my question is there any law that we can impose on this guy by the Justice Department to shut some of these...
Okay, the caller keeps trying to listen to his TV in the back. It doesn't work. Mr. Harris, if you can call back into the show, we'll take one final call. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I don't know if there's any law that they can just declare, say you cannot talk, but under our law, you cannot be lying on people. That is a crime. Whether it's a misdemeanor or some kind of crime, maybe the lawyers can describe that. But the government, if it deems something a danger against our sovereignty, against the state, the government has tools to counter that. Caller, you are the final caller for tonight. Hello, caller. You are the final caller for tonight.
Okay, thank you, brother. This is Buddy Hands from Columbus, Georgia.
You're live.
I just want to contribute towards what is unfolding in our country. My recommendation would be like, I think Ministry of Justice needs to step up because people are using blackmailing on other people and they go scot-free. There's a situation that happened in Ghana. A YouTube blogger lied on the president of Ghana.
Yep.
That is make a sacrifice. He made a sacrifice before he become president.
Yep.
And this case was whole seriously, and this girl was taken to a court.
Yep.
And she be sentenced for I think 5 years.
Yes.
So
That's right.
Liberia, I mean, we shouldn't sit down and just see people just escalating stuff. The drugs business, they will just leave from that other side and just start posting people photo on the internet that they are attacked. They are tapped with the drugs issued in the country, and this is very bad. Justice Ministry needs to be cramming down on people that make local expression up there for other people. It's very bad, and look at what they did to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the minister itself. I think the Justice Ministry needs to take their position. It's not about trying to quiet down freedom of speech. That's not freedom of speech. You know, that is completely total wrong. And I think the government needs to look in that direction. That's the only way we succeed, because whenever you are trying to solve problem and other people are there to escalate it.
Thank you.
I think the Ministry of Justice need to do more to step out and carry on their function. They are responsible for that. People will not just carry out false rumor, and then other people see it on the social media and start escalating it and try to be it. It's true.
Thank you.
So they need to do better.
Thank you.
That's my recommendation. For tonight. I think that will help our country to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have this thing about, I know we got press freedom, we got this, we got that, and there is a tendency in our country where everybody gets afraid in government, because if Dwalu says something and then they grab Dwalu to come explain the claim he's made against Cole, say Cole did this, Cole did that, they will say that witch hunt. So there is a tendency in our country to just avoid holding people responsible for what they've said against, especially of sitting official. Let me tell you something. It's not in government that will accuse you already. Just do your job. It's one of the president calling got a little bit bad because how too much jaw. In fact, the more you scream, the more I will squeeze. In fact, let me let it close for the night.
Wait. They got vexed with me because I said when you step on the tail, the head will holler.
Of course.
And when you step on the tail, I'm already hollering. I'm a Gildan hollering.
Yeah.
And when Stone and hollering.
Yeah.
Step the tail some more and expose the head.
You're lucky. You're lucky. Blair, my man, you in Europe out there. Let's just part ways. To the audience, you'll thank you plenty. Anything, man. This thing about Liberia is serious. The drugs have to leave. It's global operation. Every country is experiencing it. And to fight the drug people got plenty of money they can pay anybody, anything. Blair.
Dwalu, for me, where I see this fight is going and people are trying to create some obstacles, what is happening at the end of school, we have to be bold and be able to say these things. People must not say, don't call the guy's name. The image of the country, they're trying to damage it. And I think this goes beyond press freedom. It is time that the government begin to take actions. It is time. That is not muscling the press. There are ethics in journalism. I think the government is giving too much freedom, and I don't know what they are afraid of. It is not censoring the press, but they have every country. The media laws have to be followed. You can't just be jumping from one place. When you fight here, you lose the battle, you jump to the next one. I think Honorable Piana need to, they control these things. They have to come up. And lastly, that grave, that guy said he put his mother in there, they need to check that place more. I want to believe my fortunes are there. That thing is not normal. Where they can carry back or resin all inside there. Call. Y'all want to really believe that's not just ordinary grave? Some of the monies we're looking for in this country, inside that place. Seriously. That thing I talked about it last night. I said that it can't be normal. I want to believe the people can go sit in that place in the night because they can imagine. If I show it, if I pull the picture now, they carry back or resin all to distribute to people. That thing, it's not just two. The reason for some of these people being under sanction, where the American government said they were money laundering some of the money inside there. I hope the government, if they just get a warrant from the court and say they want to go and visit our tomb, in our tomb, let's go and visit the tomb and know what really inside there. The secret part of that tomb. Dwalu, if they bring bags of money and drugs from in that place, don't call me Abba. These people are very brave. You can't say and say the country is bleeding. Indeed, the country is bleeding. Looking at what, if you're not come to power, you wouldn't have built that kind of a thing you call grave or tomb. What else store our money in? It is in there. The government have to visit that place. Not ordinary tomb there. That place that have fortune. Our money there. You're good there. How I can say you're American too? You're cool now. You're cool now.
Okay, that they put a word born here. Me, I'm born here. Away from how your party statement. My brother, let me tell you, the evidence leads to the grave. You know, like brother, it's a sentiment about going to the graveside. And we got high reverence for the dead. I understand that, but when evidence leads to somebody graveyard, we bought that graveyard open here, little man with it. Go and how your party?
Yes. So thank you, Dwalu. Thank you, Etepol. And it is nice to meet you finally, even though we're on camera. I agree with one of the callers that said that it's about time for Senator Conner and Senator Snow to be called in for questioning. I don't think the Justice Ministry should be afraid. I think they should take the bold step and call them, because you cannot sit on a platform and say you know people. Edwin Snow sat in the Senate. I think they said he was covered with some immunity there to say he has a credit card number of a drug dealer. We know. I was living with my dad for some time and I did not even have his credit card number. How did you get that number? So with all these accusations, calling people names, trying to just throw everything out there to see what sticks, they need to call them for questioning. And thank you again. And I'm very blessed to be on this platform. And hopefully this is not my last time. Thank you.
Dwalu, you're on mute. Thank you, Howard.
Yeah, it's you, Cole. Your party statement. Thank you, Howard.
Yeah, my part is Howard. Was great to finally chat with you and see your face well and everything. Yeah, we got to do this more often. I always watch y'all on Albert's platform. So, but what I wanted to say is that Liberian people, we are at a crossroads. If we want Liberia to be transformed to be that shining star that it was always intended to be, we have to be courageous, we have to be brave, we have to be strong. I'm not one person that discourages opposition. Opposition is good. Opposition should be in the interest of the country. But you can't be in opposition and be fighting your country, say you're fighting the administration. There's a line that you draw. When we were in opposition, when George Weah was president, it was patriotism. We were looking for what was best for our country. We didn't just get in opposition and say, we're going to fight George Weah and fight Liberia because George Weah in charge of Liberia. You have to separate the country. You know, if your goal is to make the country better, when the person who is in charge, even if you don't support that person, is doing the right thing, you don't lie and try to drag the country backwards in the name of opposition. That's not how it works. I see people out here lying on Liberia, doing all of these things. And it's up to the citizens. I hear Albert and everybody say, oh, they need to, clamp down on this bad journalism. But citizens themselves need to also stop supporting rubbish. You see people who getting information leaked to them by the security sector, pretending that they sat in Europe and found the information. That's not how you do investigative journalism. I love what Ambrose said. Investigative journalism isn't somebody illegally and unethically leaking information from in the security sector to somebody, and then you say, oh, I went and did investigation. This is what I found. Every single thing those people are putting out is coming from the very security sector, the very investigation. They leak it prematurely, and sometimes could even be compromising the investigation. What is their motive for doing that? Those are things we need to be talking about. If I'm trying to preempt something from happening and I'm on the inside and I got information, let me just give it to Martin Cully so he can put it outside, and then it'll put a monkey wrench in the investigation or undermine the investigative authorities. You guys got to do better. And that's the second thing. The last thing I want to say is that Dwalu and everybody that's listening, we have to rally behind our president and our security sector. What they're doing, what they're working against. You've got people in the security sector that are there because they were put there by the cartel or encouraged to be there by the cartel. How scary is that? How freaking scary is that? And then we putting all of them in one pot and cussing them. That's not the case. You've got people there working, and they got to be looking over their shoulder because they don't know which one among them is a mole. This isn't unique to Liberia. This is every cartel story all over the world. This is what happened in Nicaragua. This is what happens with I mean, all the cartels. Mexico, they infiltrate the security sector, and then sometimes the security people who are doing the right thing, their lives are in danger. Their safety is in danger. So when you see Amara and others get up and condemn everybody, it's really hurtful and almost borderline wickedness to condemn people who are risking their lives every day while you sit in your little posh car with your security, being driven around Monrovia,
that we pay for,
that the citizens of Liberia are paying for. Then you got people who make a fraction of what you make. They're risking their lives. Then you go on Facebook and berate them and disrespect them and all kinds of. Well, what's your mission? What is your mission? So, I mean, that's why I got to put out there. Y'all rally around the people who are doing the right thing. No matter if you're opposition, if you're in position, the issue here in Liberia must come first. And you should be advocating for your country from a position of sincerity, not from a position of hatred.
So I think you said everything that I was going to say. This call calls for citizens of Liberia to literally rally around their government. It is not about a political party. Don't get me wrong. Don't defend anybody who's a part of the cartel. I wouldn't even defend President Bouakai himself if it is determined that he's part of this. This is not the issue. It's about in defense of Liberia. Because if we sit out there and we say because the person that I wanted to be president is not president, so I'm going to smear the country, you will also face the consequences of that smearing of the country you've done internationally. Liberia will suffer. The last thing, what hurts so much is when people that are in the government that are benefiting, people like Amara Kane, Edwin Snow. Y'all tell me what Amara Kane was doing before he came to government. This is where you determine a person's true worth. Tell me what you were doing for the devil before you came to government. I know people, you can say, oh, people life change, but tell me what you were doing before you came to government. So the government has done a lot for you. And if you think you're going to destroy the future of our children, those of us that want to move our children back home someday to say, listen, this is your heritage, this is your country, I don't want you to destroy that. If it's something truthful, please state that truth. But if your intention is to entirely diminish this country without any evidence to show what you're doing, simply because you can say I can make a point and I can get on social media and I'll have a following, no matter what I say, they're going to follow me. We dissected everything Amara Kane said here, Senator Kane said here, rather. And you can take it apart for yourself. He lied throughout. Tells the president he has his own mind. Literally disrespects the president. That he's being superficial. He's not serious about fighting drugs. People investigating themselves. The government is being lackadaisical about the issue about drugs in our country. And I've not seen one single administration, not just in Liberia, in the whole of Africa, anywhere in Africa, that is this diligent and forceful on the issue of countering drugs in our society. This is exactly what is being done. Very people in the government. Like how we just said, people were literally planted in agencies, in administrations, to stay there and protect the cartel. It could be possible that judges, this is not unique to Liberia, by the way. Come here to Mexico, entire cities. Go to El Salvador and Guatemala. Come here to these United States. They got people in drug organizations, SWAT teams. They're compromised. It happens all the time. New York City, there are entire police department that the FBI have investigated. Drug money is big money. So if the government has the kahuna to actually fight against this is tremendous political will. And then if you have a lot of rats underneath it trying to dismantle or diminish what the government is trying to do, they are destroying Liberia. Amara Kane knows well. We have given him a whole lot more. Before Amara Kane came to government, he didn't have a graduate degree. We didn't want to send him to school. Amara Kane boasts about going to Harvard and MIT. This is the Liberian people. When he was in a private life, Amara Kane went to a community college to begin with. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm trying to say is a lot have been given to Amara Kane. It is upon him to give a lot back to Liberia. Senator Kane, you must give a lot back to Liberia. Senator Snow, we know where you were before you came to government. You were a driver. I'm not saying this to put them down. I just want to remind them where they're coming from. Senator Kane was a representative before he went to college, before he went to LU. You remember when he graduated, he kicked out. He was a representative for many years before he went to LU. In chaos, they were able to get the prominence in chaos. And what they have done, they have held this entire country hostage because in chaos, they know they can maintain their position. And we cannot be chaotic forever. We got to change this. And to change this, we need a president. The president work out what he's doing to counter any vice that is trying to destroy this country. And this is the goal. This is the goal. And that's why we came on live. You cannot write anything out there that is not true. I'm not saying if Dwalu is guilty of drugs, you got evidence, please do that. But don't you can say, oh, the government being superficial. They're not fighting the drug. If you get evidence, the Justice Ministry has come on live. The video is out there. Anybody can look it up. If you get evidence, bring the evidence. If you don't trust us, take the evidence to the Americans, take it to the Moroccans, take it to the Europeans, and then we will investigate. But you're not willing to do this. Everybody claim to, I'm wearing government, I will be main government. Before me tell you something, that's what Opa say. If you were not able to become B-man in the private sector, and you come to government, you B-man, that B-man is a superficial big man. It's not the kind of B-man. Anybody can rise to the occasion of minister in Liberia. It should not be that way, by the way. Let me tell you, before 1980, that did not exist so easily. Nobody just get up from nowhere and begin minister. To become a minister, you have to be exceptional. You have to have been at the very height of your profession. Exceptional. Our best and brightest mind. You burn the midnight candle for decades, sometimes 20, 30 years before you can rise to the occasion of a minister or even a representative. But nowadays, this is entirely personified on the president. We are. You just told anybody, any kind of flag, I get president, my man will be deputy minister, my man will be the one. Then all of a sudden now, I was a minister in government. You better get up in front of me. You must have the same thing. Education. My how one education is not the same thing of your ChatGPT or your Google education. We are not the same. It's not the same thing. Call before I leave tonight. Please make a comment. Anything else before I close tonight.
Dalo, I enjoy you too bad. So yeah, Dwalo, thank you for your word. And I'm just gonna buttress what Dwalo said. Please mute you. I was echoing. The head is hollering. The tail has been stomped on and the head is hollering. I'm understanding that Senator Kane is on spoon. Why are you so loud? Why are you hollering all around the place? What are you trying to protect? Why are you people using the sanctity, the honorable House of Senate as a propaganda tool for the cartel? Why are you doing that? That's why sister, my little sister Hawa, I'm on here talking about, hey, there's something fishy going on. That's why everybody's asking questions. You're making yourself look guilty. And it's obvious. You step on the tail, the head is hollering. I think the Liberian Senate needs to investigate those senators who are running around making noise. Y'all call those individuals to book. They're making the whole House of Senate look bad. You see any representatives running around doing this thing? It's the people who are around Nathaniel McGill, his closest friends. They're the ones talking plenty. What's going on? We got so much to think about. And Boto Kane, your husband's name keeps coming up in a lot of things. Your husband's name keeps coming up in a lot of things. We're not going to stop talking. I was in Liberia. I saw our children, Dwalu, our children selling in the streets. I was in Liberia. I saw all of the things that I saw. It's not time to be quiet. It's time to call names. Boto Kane, why your husband naming all the drug noise? Long time before this whole thing got exploded, they've been talking about Boto Kane husband or her man. I don't know, they married. Then the other one comes from Bopulu. Now you running around trying to cause out, throw monkey wrench in the investigation. Amara, what's going on? Y'all happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday. And I will leave you guys today with the president speaking his position on the drug in Liberia. That's how serious it is. This is very, very serious about our country. And the president, listen to him very carefully. Does that look like a man that not serious about the drug thing? Giving all the action. Don't take his word. Look at the actions that he has followed to do with his word. That's what I want you to look at. This country has to be for like the CIA said, whenever you try to remove drugs from a location, the very people that are the direct beneficiary of the drug money, they will do all, they will kick, they will scream, they will hold here, they will do any kind of thing to discourage you from removing it there. I am not saying that's what the likes of Connor or Snow are doing, but it's extremely fishy. Why are they trying to counter the removal of drugs from Liberia? Let's listen to the president. You guys, man, y'all have a great Sunday. Let's listen to the president.
And let me be clear and absolute. To those who seek to bring illegal drugs into Liberia to destroy the lives of our young people, let them hear me today. To those who believe Liberia can be used as a transit point for international narcotic trafficking, let them hear me as well. To those who believe that their positions, influence, wealth, or authority places them beyond the reach of justice, clean your ears and hear me today, well and be warned. We will identify you, we will pursue you, we will find you, and we will deal with you in accordance with the rule of law. There will be no sacred cows in this Joseph Nimak Walker administration. No one who engages in criminal activity will be permitted to hide behind poverty, public office, political influence, business interests, and their family connections, or any other position of authority. So whether you're a government official, a law enforcement officer, a businessman, a custom broker, or an ordinary citizen, the law must apply equally to everyone. This is the life.
And this is it, guys. The law must apply to everyone. The president is absolutely right on this issue, and the senators and the very people who are trying to counter this fight against drug, they too must be countered, because we cannot allow Liberia to go behind again, not under any circumstance. The people who believe that they're only going to thrive in chaos, but I mean Liberia must always be chaotic, it's a woe unto you. This country will develop. This country will change. You can scream, you can kick. We are not taking anybody again who is not prepared to govern this country. So you can bring drug barons into our country. You can bring cartel infused in across our government, removing people from in government who are part of or been proven to be partakers of the drug distribution in our country. It is the right thing to do. It doesn't mean the government now is a cartel government. The president has the political will. We will continue to support him for conducting himself in that fashion. Again, man, to our people here, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.